Jensen will get an MRI on his left knee after being carted off the practice field today. GM Jason Light says it might be a few days before they get a diagnosis. Cardinals quarterback Kyler Murray heard the backlash after reports that his new contract includes a mandatory film study clause. Murray today says it's disrespectful that people would think he's not working hard.
I refuse to let my work ethic, my preparation be in question. I've put an incomprehensible amount of time and blood, sweat, tears, and work into what I do.
Kyler Murray, who didn't answer questions about certain provisions in his contract. Russia says any possible prisoner swap involving two-time Olympic gold medalist Brittany Griner will have to be negotiated quietly. The U.S. has made an offer, but there's no agreement yet. ESPN's TJ Quinn reports a verdict and sentencing in Griner's trial is expected next week. From the NHL, the Rangers will re-sign winger Capo Caco to a 2-year contract.
The new Venture X card from Capital One. Earn 10x miles on hotels and rental cars and 5x miles on flights when you book through Capital One Travel, plus 2x miles on all other purchases. Capital One. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. I'm Matt. I am sweating. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Alondra Villaria. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Ton to get to over the course of the day today. I'm pretty fired up. Todd McClure is going to be with us next hour. If you have not yet heard the news, I am so fired up. Could not be more excited for Big Roo, former LSU Tiger, Todd McClure, who today was announced by the Atlanta Falcons. And believe me, it is very hard to mention anything positive having to do with the Atlanta Falcons, whom I hate very, very much and always will. The Atlanta Falcons did announce today that the great Todd McClure is being inducted into the Ring of Honor. So congrats to Todd McClure, who was a 7th-round pick of the Falcons when he finished up his LSU career following the 1998 season. And today, Todd McClure was announced will go into the Falcons Ring of Honor. So he is the 12th member that'll be inducted into the Falcons Ring of Honor. It'll happen October the 30th against the Panthers. Thank goodness it's not going to happen in a game against the Saints. But if there was any way that the Falcons could ever get me to applaud anything that they do ever, this would be. It might actually be the second time the Falcons have ever done something good. Okay, third. Because Warwick Dunn's in the Ring of Honor as well. And, of course, Warwick Dunn, a Calicut guy, Baton Rouge, love Warwick Dunn, fired up for that. 2 was whenever they lowered their concession prices. They went back to, they basically scaled back to family pricing is what they called it, which was very smart. But then this, obviously, as well. So, I mean, Todd's a guy from Central who was basically a 4-year starter at LSU, was part of the Bring Back the Magic years under DiNardo. 14 NFL seasons, all of them with the Falcons, and this was an inevitability. He's one of the most beloved players in that franchise's history, and I'm very, very excited for him. I'm not happy for Atlanta. I'm not happy for the Falcons, but I'm very happy for Todd McClure, who is going to be with us a little more than an hour from right now. All right, day 2 of Saints training camp. Saints were back out on the practice field for a bit longer workout today. Day 1 on Wednesday was a little bit of a sort of dip your toe in the water, just get back out there, run around. The big storyline, of course, was with Michael Thomas being back out there. There were a couple of notables, and after practice today, Dennis Allen did meet with the media, and he was asked about both Tyrann Mathieu and Michael Thomas.
look, he's dealing with a personal matter, and so we're going to allow him to do that, and he'll be back when he's ready to be back.
I thought she was going to say Michael Thomas, so I'll ask the same question. Michael Thomas. Yeah, I mean, I know you're not going to name the day, but I mean,
Soon.
just everything continued to be
Soon.
really
Feel good
positive.
about it. Feel good about it.
So Tyrann Mathieu continues to be absent, but they're waiting for him to come back. Michael Thomas, of course, was there. Was a very nice surprise for the start of practice. As we go through some of the other updates, here was an update on Marcus May, of course, who was the big. This is number 4, Alondra. The big free agent acquisition for the Saints in the secondary there to replace, obviously, Marcus Williams, who left for Baltimore in free agency. May coming off a ruptured Achilles during last season with the Jets. Here was the update on Marcus May.
Well, the answer to the first question is I think he's progressing nicely from the injury. He'll be ready to go when we go out there tomorrow. I think we got to be smart and making sure that we're just monitoring how he's doing because he certainly didn't get a lot of activity during the spring, and so we want to kind of be able to ramp him up a little bit. But feel good about it. I think him and Tyrann complement each other really well. Both have the ability to play deep. Both have the ability to play down in the box. It's going to allow us to have some multiplicity in terms of what we do defensively, which is good. And I think, Tyrann's veteran presence will bring some intelligence and leadership to that room.
So Tyrann, Marcus May look to be one of the better safety tandems. See when they both get out there. May, of course, still coming back from the injury. Tyrann with the excused absence here to start. The Saints have a couple of weeks before their first preseason game. Hard to believe, but the Hall of Fame game is next week. So you will already have preseason football a week from now, which will be fun to see. I'm a noted preseason football junkie, camp junkie. I was asked earlier today, actually, what the NFL could ever do to make the preseason more exciting, preseason games. And my answer was nothing. There's nothing you can do. Look, they're trying to contract the preseason. You've already gone from 4 games to 3. And I think inevitably we will get to fewer than that and maybe no preseason games. There's nothing you can ever do to make it more interesting. And that's okay. It's not supposed to be interesting unless if you're a junkie, because the purpose of preseason is not to run your starters out there to get them injured. The purpose of preseason is to get game film and film in game-like situations on guys that are trying to make the team. So if you care deeply about roster spot 50, 51, 52, then you care about the preseason. Like, I care very much to see who's going to earn that last roster spot that might be the swing offensive lineman. Like, is Nick Martin going to earn a roster spot? Who's going to replace Will Clapp, who was that sort of swing lineman who's now with the Chargers? It's to find out who's going to be the gunner on special teams or things like that. Who's going to be that 5th or 6th receiver that makes the team? I mean, that's the interesting part. Can Abram Smith be the guy that wins the job as the last running back after Kamara and maybe Ingram? Or does he beat out Mark Ingram? Like, that's the interesting part of the preseason. You're never going to make the games more interesting if you're not interested in that component of the preseason, because that's why they exist. So to that end, I don't really care, but Dennis Allen was asked about the starters for the first few preseason games, if they've mapped out kind of how that's going to go, and I'll add a quick follow-up after this.
No. I've mapped out what we're doing tomorrow. Right? And that's.
I don't mean the individuals, but I just meant
Yeah.
Is the third preseason game like the third used to be, that kind of thing?
Yeah, I've got that thought, in my mind, and we'll keep it there for right now.
So not this Saturday, not next Saturday, but the following Saturday, the 13th, is when they're at Houston for the first preseason game. It's got plenty of time to figure that out. But notably today, in day 2, there were, and I'm very interested in left tackle. And I know everybody wants to talk about Chris Olave with good reason. He was your first draft pick. He's the exciting guy. It's the flashy position. But, I mean, Teron Armstead walked in free agency this year to Miami. You've got James Hurst, who played a lot there last year when Armstead was injured, but you drafted Trevor Penning as well. Day one, Hurst was running at left tackle. Today, Hurst and Penning both took reps at left tackle. So I don't know really what to expect in the first preseason game or any of the preseason games, how they'll rotate that. And quite honestly, I don't care. I mean, I'm very interested to watch Trevor Penning play and to see how he does. But that's one spot that I'll be very interested to see if Penning can win the starting job or if it's going to be a progression throughout the year. I mean, it'll remind you when Armstead came in, he didn't start right away. When he came in from Pine Bluff as a rookie, it took him about midway through his rookie season before he finally locked down that job, and then he never let it go except for when he was injured. Maybe something similar this year where Hurst is the guy initially until Penning is ready, if and when that happens. One more, though, from Dennis. Can you please 11, please? Alan today talked about how the roster looks as a whole right now.
Yeah, it's a good group. It's a good group. I think we got a lot of talented players. I think they're coached really well, and I think they play extremely hard and they do the things that we're asking them to do. You know, and yeah, we do have good depth at that position. And I would say this. I would say, you know, one of the things that we wanted to do this offseason was build a highly competitive roster. All right, we talked about our roster and our team being, you know, tough, smart, and competitive. Well, part of that is, man, I want our guys competing every day. And how do you encourage competition is, well, you get a lot of really good players. And you have to compete to stay on top. And so yeah, I think that's, I feel good about that. And I think we're in a good spot there.
Dennis Allen, just a couple days into his first camp as Saints head coach. He'll be back on the field again tomorrow as the Saints continue to move along here in the first week of training camp. Again, the first preseason game isn't until the 13th, so it's 2 weeks from Saturday. And then the second preseason game, they're at Green Bay, and the Saints will have joint practices with the Packers in Green Bay that week before the game. And then the third and final preseason game on August the 26th, it'll be at home against the Los Angeles Chargers, the only home preseason game for the Saints here in the Dome in this preseason. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad to have you aboard with us here. Thursday shows are brought to you by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Bluebonnet and Baton Rouge, Ambassador DeCaffrey and Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. Okay, quick break. When we come back, are we, and mainly I mean me, am I, grossly underrating LSU's cornerbacks this year? I want to talk about that next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Look, it is raining right now. As a matter of fact, I'm looking at the TVs. There's an emergency alert system going on right now because of all the bad weather in this area, but a flash flood warning. So when the rain comes through and the clouds come through, it cools things off a bit. But you know, every day we have triple-digit temps. Got in my car yesterday. The air temperature was 95 degrees. The heat index was well over that, into the triple digits. If your home central AC isn't keeping up, if you're having an issue, y'all, it's too hot. It's dangerously hot right now not to have air conditioning. Call River City's 1 Hour Air. Remember, they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001. It's the big yellow vans and trucks that you hear me talk about all the time. They have the giant clock on the side. You see them all over the place. Nights, holidays, weekends, they'll always come out and never charge you extra to come out. It's River City's 1 Hour Air. 752-0001, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
For over 53 years, customers have been heading to Happy Town for the Corval Toyota experience. Why? Because they choose to get an outstanding price and amazing customer service. Want the same and get treated like family? Then Corval Toyota in Opelousas is the dealership for you. Corval vehicles have been cruising around Acadiana for 5 decades. Corval Toyota is here to stay, and we want to keep you rolling. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas. Happy Town, USA.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
There's nothing better than tailgating, but it can be a lot of work. So why do it yourself when you don't have to? Let Revelry Sports and Entertainment set up your luxury tailgate on campus. Order what you want and just show up to party. Book your tailgate today.
After further review with Matt Moscona. Presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
I think I might be grossly underrating LSU's cornerbacks. Get to that here in just a quick second. Remember, you can always email us, Matt at 1045ESPN.com. You can tweet the show at Matt Moscona. Or you could jump in the Bayou Forward YouTube chat on the Watch 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge YouTube channel. And you can always text us in the 225 at 396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Many thanks to Will Stout, who pinch hit for T-Bob last night on Scone and T. And it was a phenomenal hour that we spent if you missed it. Will, of course, many remember, was he was the guy behind the creative juices behind the viral hype videos for the 2019 LSU football season. And Will is working freelance now. And after he left LSU, went to Southern Cal where he worked for a year, and then that was during COVID. Then Alex Bregman hired him away. He was Bregman's personal videographer, content creator. And is now working part-time for Bregman and freelancing as well. And Will was back in Baton Rouge. I had a chance to visit with him yesterday because we at HUDCO actually hired him to do some video content creation for us. And so I asked him, hey, would you pinch hit for T-Bob and come on the podcast on Scone and T? So we spent an hour last night, and we talked a lot about those 2019 hype videos and what went into creating them, some of his memories, highs and lows from that season. Talked about his year at Southern Cal, talked about working for Bregman, asked him if he would ever actually go back to LSU. And one of the really interesting things, I don't want to term it as regret, but he said he does wonder, what if he had just stayed at LSU, and continued doing the thing that he had done so well in 2019. So don't know if that road will lead back to LSU for Will Stout, but it was a really good conversation. If you want to listen to it, you can check out the Scone and T podcast, wherever you get your podcasts, or you can go to the Watch 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel, check out Scone and T from yesterday, and you'll see the conversation with me and Will for an hour. It was a lot of fun for me personally. I've known Will for a little while now. He did go to Catholic High, so we have that connection as well. I know you all probably get sick of me talking about it, but I don't ever get sick of talking about it. But anyway, if you're interested, check it out. Really good hour-long convo with Will Stout. If nothing else, just to hear him tell tales and stories about that 2019 season, putting together those hype videos and how a lot of them came together was really cool. All right, it's after further review. As we have started to build toward the 2022 season, we've done a lot of position previews. And we have a certain consensus. I think you'd probably agree. Like, big question marks around the offensive line. You really just don't know who's going to start there. Everyone is obviously curious who's going to win the quarterback job. Tigers obviously have a major hole at tight end by Brian Kelly's own admission. They're going to have to be creative to figure it out. They're loaded at receiver. They're loaded at defensive line. Some really productive players at linebacker. A nice combo of young and old. And then there's the secondary. And the secondary is probably the most perplexing position on this LSU team. Because, LSU has rightfully earned the moniker of DBU. And normally we can start a season and just say, okay, well, that's on lockdown, and then you move from there. But it's really not the case this year because you lost essentially your entire secondary. Now, I'll grant you, Jay Ward is back. Major Burns was hurt last year, but he's healthy again. But Elias Ricks transferred to Alabama. I mean, the song and dance. Dwight McLaughlin's now at Arkansas. And you went and really attacked the transfer portal, bringing in guys with starting experience from Jark Bernard-Converse and Sevin Banks and Mekhi Gardner, Fouché and Brooks. And we've gone through it a ton when you look at that secondary and you realize, there's a lot of guys who have played a ton of football. Brooks and Fouché have been career starters at Arkansas. Jark Bernard-Converse started 47 consecutive games at Oklahoma State, where it was all Big 12 last year. Mekhi Gardner, someone people are really excited on, very high on as far as his athletic potential. But, you've got a new secondary coach back there, obviously, in Kerry Cooks, and a whole new group of players and trying to figure out how it all molds together. And so, and I've said often throughout this offseason that, I think LSU can be good in the secondary. They're just not going to be – the players they lost are better than the players they brought in. That's been my take on this LSU secondary. And, I might be undervaluing this secondary. I'll grant you that I might be undervaluing them. And I still believe Elias Ricks, of all the players from last year or this year in LSU secondary, Elias Ricks is the best. And he's not here anymore. So it's hard when you lose the best player in that group to say that you're better. But they might be better than I'm giving them credit for. And this is from Pro Football Focus. Pro Football Focus puts together their position rankings for college football. So they'll take the top 50 players at a position and rank them. And keep in mind, this has nothing to do with pro potential. They're not projecting guys to the next level. I mean, a great example of that, if you remember, was like Michael Sam. Remember Michael Sam? I mean, I think everybody remembers Michael Sam mostly because he became the first openly gay athlete, and he was the SEC Defensive Player of the Year. But Michael Sam was never a projectable defensive player in the NFL, regardless of his orientation. He was just a short dude that didn't have a ton of speed, just wasn't really your prototypical edge rusher. So, again, this isn't pro potential. This is ranking the best college players in the secondary. And this is from Pro Football Focus, which we put a lot of stock in Pro Football Focus. Not that it's the only metric, but it is a metric that's not based on subjectivity, but more objectivity based on how they put their metrics together and grade out players. So when I looked at this list, the top 50 defensive backs, it starts with Elias Ricks. That should go without saying. I told you, he's the best cornerback in college football. He was a 5-star. He came in, started as a freshman, led the SEC in interceptions. He's a freak show, and he's going to be a first-round draft pick after the season. It just sucks that he's playing at Alabama and not at LSU. Number 2 on the list is Cam Smith from South Carolina, who also has a chance to be a first-round pick. Clark Phillips from Utah. Keely Ringo from Georgia, who transferred in last year, missed part of the season, but is a fantastic player and pro prospect. And you go on down the list, and you'll see Jason Marshall from Florida. And 11th on the list is Jark Bernard-Converse at LSU. And then a little below that, at 16, is Mekhi Gardner from LSU. As a matter of fact, on this list of the top 50, I'm sorry, not the top 50, forgive me, top 25, the top 25 players at the position. On this list of the top 25 cornerbacks in college football this year, there's only 2 schools that have multiple players. It's LSU and, oddly enough, North Carolina. Storm Duck. What's his name? Storm Duck. Storm Duck is on the list, and so is Tony Grimes at 24. So LSU and North Carolina are the only two schools in the country with multiple players on this list from Pro Football Focus. Again, it's a metric. It's not the metric, as I often say, but it does suggest that maybe LSU is in better hands there than I've given them credit for. Now, Pro Football Focus also graded out I went and looked at their top 50, pro prospects for this year, and you got a half dozen cornerbacks for this upcoming draft. So again, the difference in grading pro potential and grading college, defensive backs. I mean, you've got cornerbacks on this list. The number one cornerback they have ranked on the list is Keely Ringo, who I just mentioned, from Georgia. They have him as the 8th best prospect in this upcoming draft. Garrett Williams from Syracuse, they grade as the 16th best player in the draft. He's not even on the list. Well, let me make sure. I think he is on the list. He's just down low. Anyway, I mentioned that Elias Ricks is on this list. He's at 23, the 23rd overall prospect on the list. So you get my point. Cam Smith from South Carolina, the number 31 overall prospect for this upcoming draft from Pro Football Focus. They have him rated as the 2nd best cornerback in college football this year. So anyway, point is, just because you may not be a great pro prospect doesn't mean you're not going to be a really good college cornerback, and I think that's what LSU is dealing with here. I don't know that Jark Bernard-Converse projects as a high draft pick. If athletically you are that, you're not hanging around college football for 4 or 5 seasons. You're 3 and you're out. You're Derek Stingley. You're what Elias Ricks will be. You're what likely Dwight McGlothern will be after this year at Arkansas. I mean, it's probably a situation where you would have had a guy, Christian Fulton, 3 and out, but for the off the field issues that he had, you understand. So, I think Jark Bernard-Converse, what will be most interesting for me is watching him, if he's the guy that ultimately draws the assignment of the other team's best player, how will he fare against the best receiver from your opponent in the SEC week in and week out, as opposed to where he came from in the Big 12, where he was all Big 12. But when you're drawing the assignment of the number 1 receiver week in and week out from your opponent in this league, how do you fare? That's one question. 2 is, how much upside does Mekhi Gardner have? We haven't even talked about Sevyn Banks yet, or the guys that remain and the guys that came in this year as part of the freshman class. But Sevyn Banks is a guy that was a starter at Ohio State and lost his job only due to injury, which is why he's here now. Is he healthy? If he is, he might be a starter. But Mekhi Gardner is the guy all throughout spring that garnered, excuse the pun, the most attention. He was the guy that most people looked at and were like, you see that guy? Because athletically, he fits the mold. He doesn't have as much experience as a guy like Jark Bernard-Converse or Sevyn Banks, but Mekhi Gardner is the one who fills out the uniform. He's 6'2", he's over 200 pounds. He's the big physical corner, the modern-day prototype of what you look for in a cornerback. How much can he improve this year in the Southeastern Conference? I think that's as much as anything. But in Pro Football Focus is rating him as the 16th best cornerback, not in the SEC, in all of college football this year. So maybe I am undervaluing the position at LSU. I know they've got a lot of guys that have played a bunch. They just haven't played together. So the pieces of that puzzle appear pretty good. How do they all come together? We'll start to find out 1 week from today on Thursday when LSU hits the practice field. All right, it's after further review. We're glad you're here. We'll knock out a quick break, go around the SEC. When we come back, Brian Kelly, of course, did speak to Rotary yesterday. We'll let you hear a lot of what he had to say. One thing that we did not talk about yesterday was what Brian Kelly had to say about the offensive line. We'll get to that when we come back, and we'll go around the SEC. Speaking of offensive line, our guy, Big Roo, Todd McClure, was announced today. He'll be in the Atlanta Falcons Ring of Honor. Todd McClure is going to join us from Atlanta in about 45 minutes from right now. Glad to have you hanging out with us here on a Thursday edition of AFR. Stick around.
AFR.
There is an emergency alert system in the greater Baton Rouge area right now. Thunderstorm warning, flash floods, all that stuff. And when this type of weather comes through, that can generally mean power outages. I am actually sitting here at the studio with tremendous peace of mind, knowing that if the power does go out at the house while I'm not there, while Erica and Drew are home alone, I don't have to worry about it because our Generac whole home generator from Schutz Electric will power on immediately if the power does go out and will power our whole home. It's incredible. Happened last week for the first time. I got a little giddy. You shouldn't be excited when your power goes out, but it was cool to see it happen for the first time. I've been telling you for weeks now, call Schutz. Log on to cesofla.com. Request an estimate. Whole home generators are more affordable than you think. That was one of the big surprises to me. The affordability, financing is available, and they handle everything from the permitting and the whole installation and everything. It's Schutz Electric. Online, cesofla.com.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside, off the bench, Hunt and Hill, the early line. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the poll of the day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
There's nothing better than tailgating, but it can be a lot of work. So why do it yourself when you don't have to? Let Revelry Sports and Entertainment set up your luxury tailgate on campus. Order what you want and just show up to party. Book your tailgate today at revelryteam.com. Revelry Sports, the official tailgate partner of LSU Athletics.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
after further review with Matt Moscona. Presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Brian Kelly was at Rotary yesterday. We did spend a good part of the show dissecting some of what he said about quarterbacks, about NIL, about the tight end position, which I thought was very interesting, about fitting in. One thing he talked about that we didn't get to yesterday were his comments on his offensive line, and I'll just remind you that before spring, and I was the one that asked him the question at the press conference, I asked him about what position or positions that they were still looking to address, and he said two. He said, his quote was, "We're not done on the offensive line." That was pre-spring. Now, they went through spring. They were still looking at Tyler Steen, remember, the offensive lineman from Vanderbilt, the left tackle who ultimately picked Alabama. It is very likely that they are done now adding players. Although they have spots and scholarships available, they could still add should they find an available player, although that probably feels unlikely at this point. But here's what Brian Kelly said on Wednesday about his offensive line a little more than a week before they hit the practice field.
Yes, we will. Yes, because we knew what our problems were going into the offseason. So we believe we've addressed that. I feel comfortable. There's still work to be done there, but we've put ourselves in a position where the offensive line is going to be better than it was. And we've added a couple of players there that I think that are back from injury. One is back into school. Bradford is back, Anthony Bradford. Garrett Dellinger is back from injury. That kind of depth with what we had in the spring should put us in a much better position on the offensive line.
So remember, again, the context was before spring, he said, we're not done there. They were looking at Tyler Steen. They didn't get him. Okay. The players they've added, air quotes, guys that weren't there in spring, Bradford and Dellinger, who both started at times a year ago, who both have played both guard and tackle, versatile guys that have played for you. But what he said there is, we need to get better. We're better now than we were a year ago. So how much better will be a big question. And I am still going to maintain that it's going to start with the center spot. I think we know Will Campbell's going to be the starting left tackle. That feels like the only given right now. But you got to start at center. Who's going to win that job? If Charles Turner does, great. Then Tremont Shorts can likely play guard position. If it's not Turner, does Shorts end up moving in to play center? And then you're looking for guard spots. If Shorts is one guard and if Bradford's the other, where does that leave Garrett Dellinger? Can he play right tackle or is that Cam Wire? Now you understand you have those sorts of situations that have to work themselves out throughout fall camp. So you've got guys that have a lot of potential, a lot of guys that have played. What you don't have is guys that have experience playing with each other right now in this offense in the spot that they're in. Didn't even mention Miles Frazier, who could end up being your starter at right tackle. There was a freshman All-America last year at FIU, or is that Cam Wire, the one real true returning starter? So they got a lot to figure out at that offensive line spot, but Brian Kelly's saying that he feels like they're going to be better now than they were a year ago. All right, it's after further review. We'll go around the SEC in just a sec. We're brought to you by Michelli Weighing and Measurement, Michelli.com. Michelli.com, 75 years in business. That's Michelli Weighing and Measurement, your partner for weighing, measuring equipment services since 1947. 75 years in business. ISO 17025 accreditation is available, and they are hiring. The Harahan office, the Baton Rouge office, and the Lake Charles office. So if you're listening to us in any parts of South Louisiana, Michelli's hiring near you. So if you're looking for a career, check out Michelli.com. Hit the careers tab right at the top, and you can apply online at Michelli.com. That's Michelli.com. Okay, we do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products, excellence in imaging solutions. The Texas A&M Aggies.
Last week when we were at SEC Football Media Days, part of the news was that wide receiver Aniyah Smith had been arrested. Obviously didn't show up at Media Days. And according to his attorney, Craig Greening, he told Fox 26 that Aniyah Smith's suspension has been lifted. The attorney confirmed that with Aniyah himself. So Smith was suspended in accordance with school and athletic department policies when he was arrested on DUI, possession of marijuana, and unlawfully carrying a weapon. But the Aggies' top receiver looks like he's back with the team already.
The South Carolina Gamecocks.
Rick Sandage, his South Carolina football career, it appears, is over. Senior defensive lineman from North Carolina is taking a medical hardship waiver. Sandage missed all of last season after undergoing surgery on his left ankle. The medical hardship allows you to remain on scholarship. You just don't count against the 85, so he can finish his career on scholarship. Just doesn't count against the 85, but he cannot play. He will remain around the team this season. Sandage was a 4-star recruit. He was the top-rated signee in South Carolina's 2018 class, played in 34 of 35 games from 2018 to 2020.
The Auburn Tigers.
Wilkie Deno. He's a 4-star defensive lineman from Florida. He verbally committed to Auburn on Thursday. Becomes the 5th member of the 2023 class, the first defensive lineman. 6'4", 245. Auburn, this is their first commitment since the 4th of July. Auburn beat out Florida State for his services. 247 composite ranks Deno as the 361st overall player and the 48th best defensive lineman.
The Vanderbilt Commodores.
Vandy basketball will play Memphis in the season opener on November the 7th. It'll be played at Memorial Gym. First time Memphis has visited Memorial Gym since 1997. That's bizarre. It'll be the first time also that the programs have faced off, being led by Jerry Stackhouse and Penny Hardaway. Commodores finished last season in the NIT quarterfinals. Memphis, meanwhile, lost in the second round of the Big Dance.
The Mississippi State Bulldogs.
And baseball coach Chris Jans landed his second 2023 commitment. Excuse me, that's basketball coach Chris Jans. My bad. 2023 power forward Jaquan Scott out of Salt Lake City Community College. He announced his commitment to Mississippi State. 6'8", 200-pounder. Chose the Bulldogs over a bunch of schools, including Memphis, Houston, Texas A&M, Cincinnati, TCU, West Virginia, and others. Last season was Scott's first in the JUCO ranks. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Shout out to our guy Trey Beal and our friends at Gulf Coast Office Products. You know where to find them. GCOPnet.com. GCOPnet.com for Gulf Coast Office Products. Face-to-face sales, service after the sale. That's what you get at Gulf Coast Office Products, an official office equipment provider of the New Orleans Saints, the New Orleans Pelicans, the LSU Tigers, and the ULL Ragin' Cajuns. That's Gulf Coast Office Products. All right, y'all, it's after further review. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here on a Thursday edition of AFR. Excited to have Todd McClure join us 30 minutes from right now. We'll talk to Ross Jackson to start hour number 3. We'll get a Saints camp report. By the way, the next live one here is wrong. It's wrong. You got it. Because I don't know what to do. Which one am I going to do? Do we know? That's none right there. Wait, well, I do need you to talk to me. So, Alondra, I need you to talk to me. Like, seriously. So, are we just not doing a live read after this? Okay. So do I just fill? Alondra's in for Muso, who's on the 420 cruise, by the way. I'm sorry. Your mic's not on. Not on. Not on. Alondra, what's wrong with your microphone? Okay, you know what? Let's go to break. There it was. Well, you're gone again.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening
you are.
with me.
Okay, whatever your mic setting is in right now, remember that. That's the setting it needs to be in for people to hear your voice.
No live. Let's just go.
Okay. We'll grab a break and continue on AFR.
AFR.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off new Ford F-150s. We have new 2021 F-150s on our lot now with $10,000 off MSRP. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Before we begin any electrical work here, we perform a home safety check that begins at your electrical panel to make sure that you and your family are safe. For all your upgrades, installations, and repairs, call Mr. Electric.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli? I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
And this year, 2022, it's time to finally treat yourself. Bring your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service. You want the latest and greatest marine technology? You want to go to the place that has not one, but two NMEA-certified techs. Family-owned and operated by the Sherman family for 30 years, front-to-back is the answer in Baton Rouge for all of your custom boat needs. So head to fronttobackboatservice.com or find them on Facebook, Front to Back Boat Service.
Visit Acura of Baton Rouge for attractive offers on the MDX.
My own people call me an Uncle Tom. I play music. Been wined and dined by royalty. Trying to bring people together. All people.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
You know, Mike Detillier for many years came on this show and spouted off an old line he and Buddy D had as an old betting angle. You know, whenever a team lost its starting center, they failed to cover 80% of the time the week they lost their starting center. I don't know what that means at the start of a season, but today the Tampa Bay Buccaneers starting center Ryan Jensen was carted off practice with a knee injury. Jason Light, their general manager, did meet with the media after practice and gave this quick update.
Yeah, right now we feel terrible for Jensen. Don't have any update on that. We won't for some time. We have tests. Some tests you have to wait a couple days before you can get them. You have to wait for swelling and things like that to go down. So I don't have any update on that other than that it was a knee injury, and we're hoping for the best, but we'll have updates on that later.
It was his left knee, so a left knee injury. Really just very unfortunate. I mean, nobody ever wants to see this ever, but especially in practice and camp on the second day. But there were, the teammates sort of gathered around Jensen whenever he went down. And I mean, you can tell, like, if you're watching here, there's a picture of what happened there at practice. I mean, the guys aren't even in full pads. So unfortunate. I think most people just automatically assume when you hear non-contact knee injury, this sort of thing. But, competitively, as a Saints fan, obviously, you don't want Tampa to do well. You get it. But you never want to see this. You just don't ever want to see it. And this is massively significant. Ryan Jensen is he's 31 years old, and he has played more snaps than any offensive lineman in the NFL since 2018. He's played 4,518 snaps at center since 2018. He has been durable, even when he's been injured. Remember last year, he hurt his ankle and still played through it late in the season and in the playoffs. So they'll determine the severity of the injury, and this has been a major overhaul on the offensive line for Tampa. They lost Alex Kappa to the Bengals in free agency, their right guard. And then their left guard, Ali Marpet, retired abruptly. And now if Jensen's injured and out for any length of time, that's your entire interior of your offensive line, which will turn over. So, Jensen has started 90 games in 8 seasons. Has played in 100 games in his NFL career. The Bucs brought him in as a free agent. And boy, he's been dominant. He has been a dominant interior player, a 93.1% pass block win rate from the center position. Surrendered only 2 sacks in 2021, the regular season, postseason combined. That is a really tough blow for Tampa Bay if in fact Ryan Jensen's out for any length of time. So we'll let you know when we have info on that. But that is something massive worth watching in the NFC South with the guy, part of the battery with Tom Brady, who went down today and could very well be injured. All right, we're brought to you by DraftKings, official sports betting partner of the UFC. Visit DraftKings or download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Remember, UFC 277 is this weekend. UFC 277, pretty fired up for this one. Juliana Pena against Amanda Nunes, part 2. Of course, Pena pulled the stunning upset the first time the two fought. This is the rematch. You can bet just $5 on any fight. Bet just $5 on any fight if you're a new customer. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the promo code Baton Rouge. Bet just $5 on any fight, and they'll give you $100 in free bets to use on the DraftKings Sportsbook. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the promo code Baton Rouge. If it's UFC 277, Major League Baseball, futures bets for the NFL or college football, it's all there for you at the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Again, use the promo code Baton Rouge. Bet just $5 on any fight. UFC 277 this weekend. Get $100 in free bets. Now the disclaimer. 21 and older, physically present in Louisiana. Availability varies by parish. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for full terms and conditions. Licensee partner Golden Nugget, Lake Charles. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-7-STOP. Not to make this an entirely NFC South or Tampa Bay centric show or segment, but we do have Todd McClure coming up next hour. He's going to the Falcons Ring of Honor. There's obviously a local tie. And then whenever something happens to a guy like Ryan Jensen, we're going to talk about it. But Julio Jones made some waves today as well. So Julio, who spent the majority of his career, obviously, with the Atlanta Falcons last year, was in Tennessee with the Titans. And then after the season, Tennessee allowed him to explore options. He ultimately decided this week that he would sign with Tampa Bay and join Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. Well, after practice today, Julio was on WDAE and told the hosts there of the teams that he had offers from this offseason. He says he chose Tampa Bay over the Green Bay Packers, the Indianapolis Colts, and your New Orleans Saints. So some of it makes sense, right? Green Bay just lost their best receiver, just lost Devontae Adams to Las Vegas. So Green Bay's in need of receiving help. The Colts make sense because who's the quarterback of the Colts? Matt Ryan, who was paired with Julio for his entire career. Matt Ryan. So those would make sense. New Orleans is kind of an interesting one, and I don't know why, if you're Julio, you would even consider New Orleans at this point after they draft Chris Olave and sign Jarvis Landry and you get Michael Thomas back. It wouldn't make a lick of sense. But I did see, earlier today, somebody, a lot of people have been asking this question, does Tampa have the best receiving room in the NFL? I can't get there, y'all, and I think if I felt they were, I would tell you. I can't get there with Tampa. I mean, Chris Godwin's a great player. He's coming off a torn ACL. He's probably not going to be there for the start of the season. You add Julio Jones, who last year had 31 catches for 434 yards and 1 score. Those were all career lows. You got Mike Evans back, who's still a fantastic player, over 1,000 yards last year. And you signed Russell Gage, who had a really good season last year in Atlanta, and they need him to step up. We got Scotty Miller had 5 catches. Brashad Perriman had 11 catches. You add Kyle Rudolph at tight end to replace Gronk. Rudolph had his worst receiving season last year since his rookie year in 2011. If you could turn back the clock 5 years and give me prime Julio, prime Godwin, prime Mike Evans, prime Kyle Rudolph, then yeah. But it kind of just feels like these are names on the marquee, but there's more sizzle than steak. We'll find out when they tee it up and kick it off for real. All right, hour number 2 next.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by South Point Volkswagen and SouthPointVW.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at SouthPointVW.com. You know the drill. South Point Volkswagen is Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer, and I mention it to you all the time. I get tremendous peace of mind when I get behind the wheel of my Atlas, or when I put Drew in his car seat in my vehicle, or when Erica leaves for work for the day and she's driving in her Atlas. I have tremendous peace of mind because I know my family is protected in one of the safest vehicles on the road. Volkswagen has 9 different IIHS top safety picks. That's the highest safety designation a vehicle can get. I talk about that often because it matters. But what also matters is the style, the feel, the performance of luxury. That's what you get with Volkswagen without the cost. And South Point Volkswagen is Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer. Airline just north of Highland, or online at SouthPointVW.com. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction?
Kids have staked out their place at Ochsner Medical Complex The Grove, where more than 30 pediatricians and pediatric specialists are all conveniently located under one roof, so you can spend less time driving and more time keeping your kids well. Dibs! It's no wonder kids call dibs at The Grove. Ochsner Health Center for Children.
There's nothing better than tailgating, but it can be a lot of work. So why do it yourself when you don't have to? Let Revelry Sports and Entertainment set up your luxury tailgate on campus. Order what you want and just show up to party. Book your tailgate today at revelryteam.com. Revelry Sports, the official tailgate partner of LSU Athletics.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $10,000 off MSRP on all new 2022 Ram Black Widow trucks in stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. Buccaneers center Ryan Jensen carted off the field today at training camp with a left knee injury. He'll have an MRI, but the team might not know his prognosis for a few more days. Ezekiel Elliott of the Cowboys has no guaranteed money on his current contract after this year. Coach Mike McCarthy on the importance of his top running back.
Zeke Elliott's one of our rocks on this team. I mean, he's a keystone player. You see all the extra work that he puts in pre-practice, post-practice, in there on Tuesdays. I mean, he's in the quarterback meetings in the morning. So the physical part of it, he overcame a lot to play. And I think that speaks volumes about him. And you need those type of individuals to win championships.
Mike McCarthy, the Cowboys signed wideout and kick returner Cavante Turpin, who was the MVP of the USFL for the New Jersey Generals in the spring. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports the Jets will sign linebacker Quan Alexander to a one-year deal. He played with the Saints last year. Baseball today, the Orioles shut out the Rays 3-0. Trey Mancini with a 2-run inside the park home run for Baltimore.
If you need solid hires fast, you need Indeed. The all-in-one hiring solution makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates from the same place. Want to find your next great hire? Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Alondra Villarreal. And Mr. Toby Tomplett. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Todd McClure in 15 minutes found out today, Big Roo, former LSU All-American, going into the Atlanta Falcons Ring of Honor. I'm fired up for our guy. Still hate the Falcons, but I'm going to celebrate him on this day. So Todd's going to join us here in about 15 minutes from right now. We're looking forward to that. Oh, by the way, Alondra. Alondra's here for the next 2 days. Muso's on the 420 cruise. A guy named Sean texted the show and said, go easy on her, brother. I was not last hour at the end of the hour trying to not be easy on you.
No, we're all good.
I just genuinely needed to know if I had to do a live review.
We're good.
Okay. So you and I were good.
Yeah.
Saw Alondra. We were actually getting, after our awful day of travel.
Oh, yeah.
Last week when we got back. It was a week ago today.
Yeah,
Thursday.
It was. Yeah.
So T-Bob, Hester, Rivers, and I were getting off the plane in New Orleans. If you didn't hear, travel day from hell. Should have been an hour from Atlanta to New Orleans. Took 7 hours. We were diverted to Houston, sat on the tarmac for 2 hours, and back home. Get off the plane, and Alondra's there at the gate. You were going to Austin.
I was going to Austin, yeah.
And it was one of those things where you ever in...
It was super random.
You're like in a mental haze or fog where you're like, wait a minute, why are you here? And it was so strange. So I'm like, I know you.
Yeah.
Am I here? It was one of those weird things wait, I was with work people already.
Right.
And then you're a work person, you're there. But you were just going for a weekend in Austin?
Yeah, I was just going to visit my family.
Your family lives in Austin?
Some of them, yeah.
Ah. See, I think maybe you should change your top of the hour drop to Deep in the Heart of Texas.
Yeah, or The Eyes of Texas.
Nope, can't do that, Alondra. That's not going to fly here on this sheer radio station, friend. No, thank you.
All right.
But next time, just make sure I have my live read that.
Yeah, I got you.
You know what I mean? Otherwise, I'm just sitting there starting in silence.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, but we're good.
Yes.
So, Sean, no worries. Alondra and I, we're good. We're kindred spirits. We're fine. LSU baseball. You probably saw this. A couple of former Tigers now have their new destinations. Will Safford, he's headed to Louisiana Tech, and Collier Cranford's going to Kansas. Dan Fitzgerald, of course, former LSU recruiting coordinator, is the new head coach at Kansas, so he's brought Collier Cranford with him there. So Safford will stay in state. Cranford will follow Dan Fitzgerald to Kansas. Interestingly, when I kind of look at, and a lot of people have been asking, it is strange that we're here at the end of July. So it's July the 28th. Usually by now, and I just have to get used to this as well because the draft being later, but usually by now, the college baseball news cycle is over. Usually it's the College World Series is over, the draft has happened, and you pretty much know who's going to sign, who's not, except for the rare exception like the Zach Lee situation in 2010, if you all remember that, where Zach Lee was a quarterback signee for LSU football. He was going through fall camp, but he had been taken by the Dodgers, and it looked like he was going to stay at LSU. And then the Dodgers, the McCourts, threw a bunch of money at him late, and he was there at practice one day, and then the next day he wasn't. I mean, there's a rare occurrence, and the reason you remember that like this is because it was 12 years ago, and it was the last time something like that happened. It might be the only time something like that happened. But anyway, we pretty much, normally you pretty much know what's going to happen. There's still a couple of roster situations that we're keeping an eye on. So I've been asked a good bit about Josh Day from Missouri. I've been asked about Jaden Newt, the pitcher, the LSU signee, who was a late-round pick. And I've also been asked about Skeens, the pitcher, hitter, the two-way player from Air Force. So here's, I guess, what I could tell you as best that I can gather now. Josh Day from Missouri, if you remember, was a 340 hitter at Mizzou this year, and does have some ties to Louisiana. He's trained here before. Josh Day was a 15th round pick of the Diamondbacks. Now, he entered the transfer portal, and I know he initially had a whole bunch of interest. LSU was interested. Arkansas was interested. A lot of big-time programs were interested because he's a really athletic shortstop who hit 340 in the SEC last year. But as best as I can gather, the expectation is Josh Day is going to sign with Arizona. So he was taken in round 15, and sometimes this happens where, as we often tell you, if you're taken in the first 10 rounds, you've agreed to a contract. A team generally isn't going to take you in the top 10 rounds unless you've agreed to the terms of whatever the signing bonus is going to be. Will you accept X? If it's slot, if it's over slot, whatever. Generally, team's not going to take you in the first 10 rounds unless you've agreed. So it's rare, super rare, that a player taken in the top 10 rounds doesn't sign. Where you hold your breath are the guys after round 10 to see if someone goes for over slot. That's what happened with Paul Gervais. Paul Gervais had tweeted after the first 2 days, hey, let's run it back, LSU. Well, in round 12, the Mets called him and obviously offered him over slot, and he took it and signed. So that's where you hold your breath of the guys in what is now day 3 after round 10. So Josh Day is one of those guys. Now, he's uncommitted anywhere right now. He just entered the transfer portal because he wasn't going to return to Mizzou most likely. But it seems as though the Diamondbacks are, in fact, going to sign him. At least that's where it's leaning right now. We'll wait and see definitively, but it seems as though LSU is content with where they are on the infield. You did lose Jack Pineda, the Baylor transfer. He ultimately signed. But Carter Young, it feels like, is going to end up at LSU. You never know until it's done. I mean, Josh Day's a 15th rounder. I believe Carter Young was a 17th rounder. So you never know until the deadline passes, but it feels like Carter Young is going to show up on campus, and Gavin Guidry is here as well. Guidry, I told you about that, kid from Barb, Louisiana Player of the Year. I was told his number was $3.2 million, and he had 5 different teams call him, offer him $2 million. He passed on him. He had his number. He stuck to it. It was a big number. He passed on $2 million. Dude wanted to be a Tiger and then potentially go, as he might see it, as the Dylan Cruz route. You pass on 2 because you think you can get 6. And if that's the case, awesome. Go get it. Go be an All-American, have an awesome LSU career, get to Omaha, win a championship, become an icon, and then get your money. So on top of that, you've got Jordan Thompson. Gavin Dugas, to me, is a wild card where he plays. We know he's coming back. Texted with Gavin a bit today. I think he's going to join us next week on the show. But in his LSU career, we've seen him play second base. We've seen him play third base. We've seen him play left field. We've seen him DH. Where does he fit? Could he be a guy that plays second base for you if Thompson plays short and Carter Young plays third? Or does Thompson go to third and Carter Young plays short, Dugas at second? Don't know. But you've got those options. And then Guidry, of course, could play any of those positions as well. So I feel like they're comfortable on the infield with where they are. Jaden Newt, it sounds like the expectation is that he is going to end up not signing, that he is going to be an LSU Tiger. And the other interesting one is Skeens, the two-way player from Air Force, who not only is a really dominant pitcher, but is a fantastic offensive player as well. So he's a two-way guy. He's a pitcher who also hits. And apparently, so he's in the portal. That apparently is down to LSU and Vanderbilt. So I'm not going to, man, I am certainly not going to make the mistake of shortchanging Jay Johnson anywhere with this, because he has gone and won some serious recruiting battles. Obviously for Tommy Tanks, for Christian Little, he brought Carter Young down here. I mean, you all know the list. He had Dylan DeBrock before he signed, Jack Pineda same, but Paul Skeens was on the collegiate national team as well from Air Force. He's a right-handed pitcher and a pretty dominant guy as well, whether he is a rotation guy or a bullpen piece. Either way, a dominant arm that can also swing the bat, and so he could potentially DH. The one thing that you'd be concerned about, let me rephrase. I don't want to say concern because I don't want this to sound like it's in any way negative. It's not. Depth and good players is never a bad thing. The guy that would stand to potentially lose if Skeens ended up here is Braden Joubert, because Joubert was your DH this year, and as a two-way guy, when he wasn't pitching, that's likely where Skeens would fit in. So Joubert would be the guy that would lose ABs if Skeens shows up on campus. So it sounds like it's LSU or Vanderbilt for Skeens. We'll wait on a decision there, but LSU apparently is very much in the mix. So Jay Johnson just continues to keep his team, his roster, in the headlines, as there's just a lot of interest and excitement because of the way year one went and the way this offseason has gone, the class that they signed that's coming in, and what the expectations are for 2023 and beyond for these Tigers. So we'll keep you posted. All right, it's after further review. We're glad you're with us. Let me knock out a quick break. I'm excited about this. Todd McClure announced today he's going into the Falcons Ring of Honor. Big Roo joins us next on AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Clegg's Nursery. Buy local, shop local, 60 years in business. Clegg started just by selling flowers out of the back of a flatbed truck 60 years ago, and now they're the largest garden center in Louisiana. What an awesome story. I love being able to represent great local businesses and have them trust me with their name, and Clegg's Nursery is certainly in that number. Any of the 4 locations: Segan near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore. You turn off of Florida on the Donmore, it's right there on the right, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. If you're on Greenwell Springs heading out of Central, it's on the right. You can't miss it. You know exactly where it is if you live in Central. It's Clegg's Nursery. Clegg's partner with True Value Hardware Store, so anything you'd find at a True Value Hardware Store, you'll also find at Clegg's Nursery, plus the largest selection of flowers and plants and trees and shrubs anywhere in South Louisiana. You'll find it at Clegg's Nursery. 4 locations. Buy local, shop local for more than 60 years. Be sure to tell them Matt sent you in to Clegg's Nursery.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
For over 53 years, customers have been heading to Happy Town for the Corval Toyota experience. Why? Because they choose to get an outstanding price and amazing customer service. Want the same and get treated like family? Then Corval Toyota in Opelousas is the dealership for you. Corval vehicles have been cruising around Acadiana for 5 decades. Corval Toyota is here to stay, and we want to keep you rolling. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas. Happy Town, USA.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an Auctioner care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioner Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
It takes nearly an act of God or an act of Congress for me to compliment the Atlanta Falcons on anything. I am New Orleans born. I'm a diehard Saints fan and will be until the day I die. And I have had many sparring, verbal, and headbutting sessions with Todd McClure over the years about the Saints and Falcons. But today, they have done the near impossible, and they have done something for which I must congratulate them because I'm so fired up. Learned earlier today that the former Tiger great, All-American Todd McClure, after 14 seasons with the Atlanta Falcons, is taking his rightful place in the Atlanta Falcons Ring of Honor. It was announced today, and Todd McClure is good enough to join us for a couple of minutes from Atlanta. Big Roo, how are you, man?
Man, doing good, Matt. Just soaking it all in, man, and still in a little bit of awe, just at the whole situation. But doing great, man. Great day for me and you both to be Falcons fans.
I hate you so much. Hey, when did you first find out?
I found out today. I kind of had a little bit of an idea of something like this may be happening. Didn't know when. But you'll love the guy that told me in the video is going to come out how it all happened. The guy that announced to me that I was going in was none other than Catholic High great Warwick Dunn.
Yeah.
It was a really cool moment for me, man, for Warwick, who's already there, been a teammate, great teammate of mine, for him to cordially announce it. It was really cool.
So, all right, so hold on, because you're in Atlanta right now, right?
Yes, I'm in Atlanta.
Okay.
Yep.
How did they get you to Atlanta without you knowing something was up?
Well, it was they told me they were shooting some preseason videos for like the Jumbotron and getting ex-players in, and that they were going to have a couple of my other buddies in for my 2012 team to talk about. That was one of the best teams in Falcons history, and we were just going to talk about that season, and that's what got me up here. But I kind of had a little idea that something like this might be going on.
All right, how did you have an idea?
I just, they offered to fly me up to, pay for my hotel room, to pay for our dinner. We went out last night. I'm like, something's up here. This isn't the norm.
They've never been this good to an offensive lineman.
Right. And I told my wife Heidi, I was like, I don't want to get my hopes up, but I think this could be it, you know. So, and it was, man. It was great. They did it. It was first class, the way they did it, and I'm still in shock, brother.
Todd McClure is with us. So you and I have talked about this. I mean, I very openly stated this was such an obvious thing, and it feels that way. I mean, 14 years with one team. I mean, you're one of the dozen best players that's ever played for that organization. Was there ever a point during your playing career or after that you actually allowed yourself to think that this was not only a possibility but a likelihood?
You know, when I decided to retire and I had my retirement press conference or whatever you call it, Mr. Blank mentioned that I would be in the Ring of Honor one day, and you know, it was really at that point where I'm like, man, that would be really awesome, you know. And then it's been 10 years since I've been out, and I started wondering, well, maybe he just misspoke and it's not really going to happen, you know. but it has happened, man. And, you know, I was hoping it'd be on a Saints game, but it's going to be on a Carolina Panthers game, so it'll be, be second fiddle. But still in all, it'll be a great day.
Todd McClure is our guest today. Announced he's going into the Falcons Ring of Honor. It's so funny because I actually led the show today saying, thank God it's October the 30th playing the Panthers. It's not on the Saints game day because I do not want anything to do with that. Did you tell Arthur Blank that story today?
No, I haven't. He's actually out of the country right now, so I haven't talked to Mr. Blank yet, but they told me he'd be calling. I talked to Rich McKay. Rich McKay was there, and I did tell him that story, you know. So, but it's a neat day, man. Really big day, and my phone has just freaking blown up, you know, and I'm trying to respond to everybody, but it's super cool.
Yeah, for real, man. I texted you earlier. I completely did not expect a reply. I just assumed this was a day where your phone would you had to turn it off because your phone would blow up. But you responded to me immediately. So is it just one of those things where you just happened to like be in a moment where you're like taking a leak and you're scrolling your phone and my text pinged? I mean, like it had to be something like that, right?
No, I got back to the hotel room, man, and I always love coming on with you guys. You know, love your show, and man, I'm doing nothing, sitting here, just kind of unwinding a little bit in the hotel room. So I said that'll be perfect. Time worked out, man. So I'm glad it did.
What is the have they told you about like that weekend of October the 30th? Like whenever you do go in, like what that's all going to entail?
You know, we got to go through that process. I know a few people at Roddy did it different than Warwick did. Roddy had like a big party with a bunch of family the night before. I don't think Warwick had that, so it's kind of some details we got to iron out and see how we're going to do it. We'll probably come in Friday night, and there'll be a few events that we have to go to, and it'll be a good day. Have my brothers in, my family, my kids, my parents, and whatever other relatives want to come hang out and be a part of the day. You know,
man. Is the highlight of your professional career getting to sit next to me in the press box at LSU games?
It absolutely is. Yes. I wish I had a picture of it that I could look at every day. And,
I think I might be able to oblige. Right I think I could probably. I have something on my phone somewhere. No, but I have told us you're such a nice guy, which for an offensive lineman, I guess that's not usually the reputation, but. I'm surprised you didn't backhand slap me multiple times because I probably never you were so nice. I probably never stopped talking to you the entire.
No, I enjoyed it, man. I enjoyed it.
Well, I mean, it was like, yeah, right. I mean, when am I ever going to get to sit there and watch a game sitting next to a guy who played 14 NFL seasons, was an All-American? So I got to basically see the game through your eyes, but I'm sure I annoyed the hell out of you, which I probably.
No, you didn't.
I probably
did not want that. I wouldn't tell you if you did.
That's my point. Yeah, I probably did, but you're too nice. You're too nice to tell me. Hey, I'm sure you've been a little nostalgic today, with this news. What kind of thoughts, memories are kind of coming to mind today?
Just with the guys. And of course, 14 years I played with so many different guys. Had so many different coaches. But today with two of the guys that I was closest with on the team, two of my lineman buddies, Justin Blaylock and Tyson Claybo, we got to talk about old memories and to hear from those guys what they thought of me through their eyes was just unbelievable. You don't tell another grown man those feelings, and to hear it from them today, it was special for me.
Who else has reached out today?
Oh man, all the guys that I've played with. I can go through a list of Falcons, LSU guys, staff, and I was there with guys that I played with at LSU, family, the list. It just all over, man. And I still, the phone's blowing up as we're talking. It literally has not stopped, and I'm completely grateful for it all.
I completely agree. I'm not going to keep you really any longer. By the way, I will absolutely always do this every time you're on. We'll shout out 6M Ranch in Antique Woods. So the website is 6M Ranch and Antique Woods. I'm glad you went with the whole brevity thing.
Yes, we've gone through this before. Go ahead.
but I'm always going to shout it out because you're going to be kind enough, especially on this day, to give me 8 minutes of your time. Of course I'm going to shout it out. And make sure you're following 6M Ranch on TikTok as well. See what Pookie's...
That might be the best follow right there.
That is absolutely the best. Go to TikTok, follow 6M Ranch, see what Pookie's up to. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it doesn't matter. Just go follow it and you'll understand. 6M Ranch and Antique Woods. Big Gru does awesome stuff. Beautiful work with woodwork, so check it all out there. Hey, man, you're always so nice to come on the show. You've always been so nice to me, and I'm grateful for that. And as much as I hate the Atlanta Falcons, I'm so happy today for you and your whole family. It's just a great honor, long overdue, but very well deserved. And thank you for the time today, man.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate you, Matt. Always enjoy it.
All right, that is Todd McClure going into the Falcons Ring of Honor. I am so fired up for him. It's so funny. He said Arthur Blank told him 10 years. He retired after the 2013 season. So it's been almost 10 almost after this will be 10 seasons that he's been out. 9 years, but 10 seasons. But, some things are just so obvious. The Falcons' equivalent of Drew Brees is Matt Ryan. I'm not saying that they're both Hall of Famers. Brees won a Super Bowl and all this, but Ryan won an MVP and had a great run there. You understand that, it's when Matt Ryan's playing days are done, it's instant he'll be in that Ring of Honor. But if there's one rung below that, the greatest player in the history of the organization, which was Matt Ryan for the Falcons, if there's one rung below that, it's Todd McClure. The guy played 14 seasons. And, he and I have talked in the past about his story where he was a 7th rounder. He's undersized. He played defensive line in high school, goes to LSU, midway through his freshman season, becomes the starting center, starts the next 3 years, 33 of 35 games over the next 3 seasons, missed 2 games, I think, due to injury. Becomes an All-American. It's a 7th round pick, and tears his ACL before his rookie year. But battled back from that, started 7 games in his second year in the NFL, and then started 188 straight games after that. It was incredible. He's just, when you talk to people who are Atlanta Falcons fans, and I know there aren't many of them, but the few people that are Atlanta Falcons fans, if you can actually sift through and find them, just go into a hollowed out vacant Mercedes-Benz Stadium on a football Sunday, and you could find the Atlanta Falcons fans, the 6 or 7 of them. They'll say, yeah, Todd McClure. He is he is symbolic of the organization. He's just one of those guys that's beloved by players, teammates, coaches, fans. The hard-nosed guy that was also a great player that was loyal and still remains loyal and played his whole career in one place. Just awesome, man. Those guys are a rare breed, but he's one of them, man. So congrats to Todd McClure. That's awesome. And genuinely cannot believe he actually replied to my text today. I cannot believe it. Not that he would ignore me, just because I knew his phone would blow up, but I'm very, very glad that he did. Hope you all enjoyed hearing from him today. Okay, quick break. Another former Tiger has a new NFL home. We're going to talk about that coming up, and also the Big Ten Commissioner Kevin Warren on college football playoff expansion. You are going to want to hear this. Don't you move. It's AFR.
AFR.
So this past Saturday at Rouse's in Denham was the rare whiskey tasting. It's happening again. Although this Saturday, in 2 days, on the 30th, it's at the Rouse's on Power Boulevard in Metairie. So get on by. Same story. 10 a.m. to noon. They're going to have Van Winkle Lot B, the 12-year, Thomas H. Handy, a Stagg Jr., and more. I know they broke out a Weller 12, a Michter's 10 this past Saturday in Denham. So again, this Saturday, 10 to noon, at the Rouse's on Power Boulevard in Metairie. Here's your opportunity to try for free, get samples of some of the rarest whiskeys that you'll find, because they can. It's Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Learn more at rouses.com. Rouses.com. Rouse's. This feels like home.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
And this year, 2022, it's time to finally treat yourself. Bring your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service. You want the latest and greatest marine technology? You want to go to the place that has not one, but 2 NMEA certified techs. Family owned and operated by the Sherman family for 30 years. Front-to-back is the answer in Baton Rouge for all of your custom boat needs. So head to fronttobackboatservice.com or
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
A lot of Saints fans have asked with Mark Ingram wearing number 5, does that mean the end of Quan Alexander's time with the New Orleans Saints? Well, the answer now is a definitive yes. Quan Alexander has signed a 1-year deal with the New York Jets. So Quan, his time in New Orleans is done. He had a good run, man. He has had an injury-plagued career, but when he's been on the field, he has been really good. From his time in Tampa to being out in San Francisco to joining New Orleans midway through the 2020 season and rupturing his Achilles, coming back last year. And when he was on the field, was really good. Quan Alexander and Demario Davis made up a pretty dynamic interior tandem. But Quan's issue has just been the injuries. It plagued him during his time at LSU when he broke his leg during his first season in Baton Rouge. And it just hasn't really ever left him, all of those injuries. But when he's been on the field, he has been a very good, very productive player. He has just been very injury-prone. Adam Schefter noted that Quan is signing a one-year deal with the Jets. And, of course, this does reunite Quan with Robert Saleh. When Quan was in San Francisco, his defensive coordinator in San Francisco was now Jets head coach Robert Saleh. So congrats to Quan on finding his landing spot. Interestingly enough, I did notice just last night on social media, maybe on Instagram, Quan posted a picture and was like, never know when your time may come, got to stay ready. And then lo and behold, today it pops the news that he's now a member of the New York Jets. That certainly is a major coup for Pete Werner. I mean, that essentially tells you the Saints are very happy with their second-round draft pick out of Ohio State from a year ago, that they feel like Werner is ready to take that step and be, the Robin to Demario Davis's Batman. And you keep him healthy for 17-game season and see what he can do. As they ultimately had to make that decision. They decided to go with a younger guy who's been healthier and has the upside at this point. So, but congrats to Quan as he'll continue his NFL career now with the New York Jets. Tap further review. We're brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. 288-8138, 288-8138 for Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Energy-efficient replacement windows, beautiful entry doors, hardy plank and vinyl siding. You know where to find them at Relief Windows and at the Relief Windows showroom. Their new corporate headquarters is open on Airline Highway in Prairieville. If you're going south on Airline into Prairieville, you cross Highway 42, just look to the right. You cannot miss it. Trust me, you cannot miss this gigantic building with the enormous Relief Windows sign on it. And walk in, 9 to 5, showrooms open every single weekday, 9 to 5, Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Big Ten Media Days going on this week. And Big Ten Commissioner Kevin Warren, when he addressed the media, has sort of changed his tone about the college football playoff. Last year, when the conversations around the college football playoff expanding were happening, Kevin Warren was he was very bullish on Power 5 AQs, automatic qualifiers, meaning if you were a Power 5 conference champion, that you deserved an automatic qualifying berth in the playoff. Kevin Warren does not believe so anymore. Quote, I'm going to soften my stance on automatic qualifiers. I just feel like we have to give some credit for conference regular season success. Now, whatever that looks like, I don't know. I said there are creative ways to do it that aren't automatic qualifiers. Let me be very clear what this is. Last year, USC and UCLA weren't in his league. That's what it was. Last year, at this time, the SEC had added Texas and Oklahoma. And the SEC was whipping everybody's ass already. And now you can add those schools and expand the playoff. What do you think was going to happen? More SEC teams were getting in. What was Kevin Warren saying? Automatic qualifiers. Why? To limit the number of SEC schools that can get in. If you got a 12-team playoff or an 8-team playoff and you have 6 AQ spots, the Power 5 and the top-ranked team from the group of 5, well, guess what? You don't have more spots for SEC schools to gobble up, which might make up half of the top 10. We've seen it in years. That was his problem. Well, guess what now? Now they add USC and UCLA to the Big Ten. Guess what you don't want? The lowly old sorry-ass Pac-12 taking up a spot from your league. This is what's wrong with college football, y'all. This is what's wrong and what has been wrong with college football for all eternity. The problem with college football is that everybody looks out for their own selfish self-interest. It's not about what's good for college football. It's what's good for me. What's good for my league. What's good for my school, not what's good for college football. That's why you and I and every other college football fan have been railroaded our entire existence of watching the sport we love. There's so much greatness in college football that we love and enjoy. We love the pageantry. We love the tradition. We love the rivalry games. We love football Saturdays. We love tailgating. We love so much of the culture around college football. It's awesome. But it could be so much better but for the fact that the powers that be are just so damn money hungry and selfish. Why in the world do I have to watch LSU play New Mexico this year? Why do I have to watch that abomination? Why do I have to have a game on the schedule with LSU and Southern, with LSU and UAB? Some crap ain't nobody want to see. Just so somebody can get a gate check, a gate receipt, and another team can get a check so they can fund their athletic department. And who gets screwed? Fans who don't want to see that junk. Ain't no different with this. Kevin Warren knows the truth. This is why college football's postseason for its entire existence has been a fraud, a sham. It's the only sport in the history of mankind where you can win every game you play and not even have a shot to win a championship. Oh, the sacred regular season. Kick rocks. It's the stupidest thing in the world. How so many smart people have bought that crap, hook, line, and sinker, and taken it to the bottom of the ocean about this sacred regular season where every game matters. It's garbage. It's total garbage. You got suits like Kevin Warren looking out for their own self-interest and how they're going to position a postseason. I got an idea. Have a giant playoff like every other freaking sport in the world. Play it out on the field. You don't need lobbyists sitting here to determine what a postseason's going to be. Why is this hard? Play games. Let the winner advance and the loser go home. Like we do it in every sport. Why is it confusing for college football? Like somehow when you cross the hollowed chalk lines of a college football field, every single international force all throughout the universe changes on a college football field to where, no, we can't have a playoff in college football. Oh, there's too many games. Oh, really? Because they play 15 and the FCS level is just different. Like when you're in college in the FCS or the FBS, just start. And then what about in the NFL? So stupid. Maybe one day we'll get there, y'all. Maybe one day in my lifetime we'll get there. I don't know if we will. But as long as you have people like Kevin Warren and every other leader in college football that are only looking out for their league or their school's self-interest instead of what's going to be good for the game and sport as a whole, that will allow it to survive another 100 years, 200, whatever. Like, we're just going to keep going round and round in circles with this stuff. I mean, a year ago, Kevin Warren was not okay. A year ago, Kevin Warren wanted automatic qualifiers for the Power 5. Automatic qualify. You're a Power 5 champ, you get an automatic berth. And now I'm softening that stance. Why? Because he went and got USC and UCLA. It's easy. His league just pillaged the Pac-12. The Pac-12 is weakened now. The Big 12 is weakened now, losing Texas and Oklahoma. You're still going to give them an automatic berth? It was a sacred regular season. Oh, I got to preserve the third Saturday in October and the Deep South's oldest rivalry. It's the stupidest crap that college football fans have just gobbled up forever. How are we going to have a college football season if Nebraska and Oklahoma don't play? I don't know. We've managed for the last decade, haven't we? Oh, you mean we're not going to have the backyard brawl anymore with Pitt and West Virginia? Yeah, I think we're good. Yeah, we'll make do. You know, I think like watching all the other games we get to see, I think LSU and Florida is pretty good, and Oklahoma playing Texas is pretty good. I don't know. Oh, it just annoys me. It annoys me. It's just, and what annoys me the most is how many smart people just buy the garbage. You just lemmings jumping off a cliff, accepting the nonsense from dudes like this. I mean, like, I've softened my stance. Yeah, no crap. Really, what could have changed that, Kevin Warren? I've had an existential experience, and a lot of soul searching has led me to believe that the best path forward. Shut up, loser. Like, I'm not an idiot. I get it. You added UCLA and USC. You don't want the Pac-12 to have an AQ anymore because they suck. Okay. Utah wins the league. They're ranked 15th in the country. Automatic berth. No. I'm good with that. But that wasn't the song you were singing a year ago because you're selfish and self-centered and you don't care about college football as a whole, just your league. And the only way this ever changes, by the way, is if the masses collectively tell all these dopes to stop being dopes and just get this done. But you keep drinking the college football Kool-Aid, the nonsense they keep feeding you, the sacred regular season, the rivalries. Well, you can't do away with the permanent. We've got to be blessed with Alabama and Tennessee on the third Saturday in October, right? What in the world would a college football schedule on the third Saturday in October be like without those two programs playing each other? I don't know, just like every other great weekend where we have great games and high-scoring games and great offenses and games that come down to the wire and great finishes and drama and theater and pageantry and all the things that we have. I don't know, man. Until y'all start caring like I care, it ain't going to change. So we'll just let dopes like Kevin Warren just keep doing his thing. And I've softened my stance. The angel Gabriel came to me in a dream and told me that we should not actually have automatic qualifiers. And y'all be like, the angel Gabriel loves college football, clearly. That's why this is happening. Eureka, the sacred regular season, the holy genuflect at the altar of college football. All right, go to break. Hit the
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Darren James and Associates, powered by eXp Realty. Every home listed by every company, all in one place. Agent225.com. Agent225.com. Buying or selling, commercial or residential. Remember the website. Darren's website is such a great tool where all the properties are broken down. If you're buying, if you're selling, there's featured properties. They're his listings as well. You can look at maps of Baton Rouge where you can get the full market report. You can do the map search. It's so easy. Just a great tool to use if you're buying or selling. 335-7666. That's Darren's number. 335-7666 or agent225.com. Agent225.com. Remember, working with Darren James obligates you to nothing. If at any point you're not thrilled with the work Darren and his team are doing, he'll let you out of the contract free and clear, but don't worry. There's a reason. He's in the Wall Street Journal's list of the top 1% of realtors in America. Call Darren James. Get your home sold.
Think real estate. Think Darren James.
Visit Acura of Baton Rouge for attractive offers on the MDX.
My own people call me an Uncle Tom. I play music. Been wined and dined by royalty. Trying to bring people together. All people. But regardless of all that kind of stuff, I'm still Louis Armstrong.
Here's the man you're waiting for, the king of jazz, Louis Satchmo Armstrong.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $10,000 off MSRP on all new 2022 Ram Black Widow trucks in stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
See, y'all thought I was joking about Kevin Warren having a dream with the angel coming to him and all that sort of stuff, but like, we're in the break and Alondra tells me a couple of weeks ago she didn't. What did you do a couple of weeks ago? No, you tell the audience. You actually verbalize into a microphone broadcasting to tens or hundreds of thousands of people right now.
This was an off-the-record conversation.
Nope. Well, it's on the record now. You did not specify when we were having it.
I didn't bet on Izzy
Adesanya
a couple weeks ago, yeah. The UFC fight, because my cousin said he had a dream that he lost by a decision. And I was like, that's so random. And Izzy's like, of course he's going to win, right? And I'm like, oh, a dream about him losing by a decision? I had to bet again. Well, I didn't even bet, like, at all. Okay. So, yes.
So,
the Angel Gabriel came to my cousin.
The most dominant champion in the sport today. You did not bet on him because your cousin had a dream that he lost a decision.
Yeah.
So y'all think that I'm kidding about this Kevin Warren thing? Like, he could sell that. And there's a segment of you that would believe it, like our dear friend Alondra here, who did not bet on Israel Adesanya because her cousin had a dream that he lost via decision. Okay. The aforementioned Alondra Villarreal has Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where Baton Rouge gets engaged.
Alrighty, so last night the Yankees faced the Mets.
Whatever. Next.
All right. Kevin Gausman, he had a bit of a rough
you can do the
night
Yankees
last
Mets
night.
thing. I'm just mad that the Yankees lost.
Okay, yeah, they lost. DJ LeMahieu went 2 for 4. He had 2 hits and 1 walk, but they did lose that game. 2-3. Yeah, it's true. Kevin Gausman, he did have a bit of a rough night last night. He pitched 4 2/3 of an inning, giving up 8 hits, one of them being a home run, 5 runs, 1 walk, but he did have 6 Ks on the night. Kevin Gausman took the L there, 6-1. Our Tigers in the pros really struggled last night. Austin Nola, he went 0 for 3. Went 0 for 3, and the Padres lost to Detroit last night. Kramer Robertson with the Syracuse Mets had a good game, but they lost to the Omaha Storm Chasers. He went 3 for 4 with a walk, but ultimately
that's good.
Lost 10-4. Yeah, Andrew Stevenson.
We need to get a new pick. That's him with the Cardinals. Who is he with now?
The Mets. The Syracuse Mets.
Syracuse Mets.
Yes.
Okay.
Andrew Stevenson drove in 1 run last night with the Rochester Red Wings versus the Rail Riders, but was otherwise 0 for 5. And the Red Wings lost that game 7-4. So tough night for our Tigers in the pros last night. But yeah, those are your Tigers in the pros.
Nothing on any of our golf pros here? No Curtis Thompson?
No Curtis Thompson.
Oh.
No Sammy Burns.
Why do you hate Curtis Thompson?
I don't. I don't hate him. I'm sorry. I'll give an update tomorrow.
Sounds like you hate him.
I don't hate him. Musso hates him.
You sound like
I don't hate him.
All right, Tigers and the Pros. Presented by Lee Michaels. Fine Jewelry online at lmfj.com. That's lmfj.com. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. 2 locations in Baton Rouge, corporate in Bocage, and the Mall of Louisiana. 9 locations in all. They can always give you a great price because they buy diamonds from the best diamond mines in India. The highest quality diamond you'll find anywhere. Thrill her, gentlemen, with a beautiful diamond from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. lmfj.com. lmfj.com. All right, Saints were back on the practice field today for the second day of training camp. Our buddy Ross Jackson from USA Today and Locked On Saints. He was out there, and he'll give us an update on Saints camp when we come back right after Sports Center. Don't you move. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey in Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. Title sponsor of our Thursday shows all throughout the year. If you want to look and feel like your younger self, there is a way, and the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana can make that happen. Simple blood test can let you know if you're a candidate for hormone replacement therapy. Would highly recommend you go do that, no matter your age, if you're a man or a woman, if you're young or old, however young or old. The number says it's more about how you feel because we all age differently. You want to get feeling like your younger self. Wake up with more energy. Sleep better at night. Get in the gym. Have the motivation to get in the gym. When you do, actually have results. Burn fat. Build muscle. You can do it. You can harness that youthful feeling again. The Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana can help. Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off new Ford F-150s. We have new 2021 F-150s on our lot now with $10,000 off MSRP. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
At Rejuva-Me, we specialize in medically monitored hormone replacement therapy, giving you the energy you need for all life's challenges. We can help get your day started. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Vizzy, the first hard seltzer with antioxidant vitamin C. It just hits different. Vizzy, step up your seltzer game.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. Buccaneers center Ryan Jensen was carted off the field today with a left knee injury. He'll have an MRI, but ESPN has learned it's not looking good. Jensen signed a new 3-year deal with the team back in March. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports defensive end Carlos Dunlap will sign a 1-year deal with the Chiefs worth up to $8 million. The Seahawks cut Dunlap earlier in the offseason. After sweeping a 2-game series against the Yankees, the first-place Mets hold a 3-game lead in the NL East, and ESPN's Buster Olney says they might be good enough to win it all. Although,
I do think that as DeGrom comes back, and that's the plan, he's going to make his return to the big league sometime in the middle of next week after missing more than a calendar year. I do think there are questions about, what he's going to be when he returns.
Buster Olney on KJ and Max. The FBI may try to settle a claim brought by dozens of USA gymnasts who were sexually assaulted by former team doctor Larry Nassar. Those women filed a $1 billion claim against the federal government for not stopping Nassar.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. And now, a no-frills ad brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Here it is. You could save big when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive. That's it. See? Just a good old-fashioned, straightforward ad. See if you could save at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE or Progressive.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Alondra Villarreal. And Mr. Toby Top Plate. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock, quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. Saints camp. Saints camp day 2 was today. Saints back out on the practice field. Our buddy Ross Jackson from USA Today, Saints Wire, and, of course, the Locked On Saints podcast. He was out there. He's going to have to join us now. Ross, how are you, man?
Hey, buddy. I'm doing great. Glad to be here with you, bud. Thanks for having me on.
Of course. Always. We appreciate the time. Let me just start with sort of the obvious ones everyone's asking about. Michael Thomas being back out there for the first time, the last 2 days. What have been your impressions watching 13 run around?
Yeah, look, it's been great. I mean, it's been great to see him out there and to see him be every bit of that sort of Michael Thomas that we would expect him to be in this situation, right? I mean, we're not watching him go up against guys in team drills and things like that. We're seeing him in position drills and individual drills, but even still, I mean, he is in a situation to where we're able to see him, and we're able to see him out there it seems pretty comfortable on that ankle, and that caused him so much grief over the past 2 seasons. I think that, he's going to have some rust to knock off, of course. This is the first time we've really seen him in football action since, December of 2020, January 2021. And so with all of that, there are going to be some things that are going to get better and that are going to get more crisp and all that in terms of route running and cutting and all of those things all throughout camp. But even right now, you're seeing kind of that first hurdle of the mental aspect of injury recovery. Can I do this? Can I trust my body to hold up if I do this? And so far, we're seeing him put weight on that ankle. He's not limping. He's moving smoothly. He doesn't have any type of an ankle brace or any tape or anything like that there. So that's a really, really good sign for an impressive start for Michael Thomas. It surprised us all by being out there day 1 of camp.
Yeah. What are they doing out there right now, Ross?
So yesterday was mostly a lot of base install. So when we say base install, we're talking about, base defense situations like a 4-3, 4 down linemen, 3 linebackers, and 4 defensive backs, for instance. So they're doing a lot of that sort of standard install. Today was a lot of special teams, for instance. And so, we every day kind of ends with the team drills as we're accustomed to. So just getting some of that install done and sort of laying the foundation for the big work that's to come here throughout the rest of camp. Practice have been a little bit abbreviated, about an hour and a half these last 2 days, but a little bit of extra work today as compared to yesterday.
Has anybody, and look, I get it, they're not even in pads yet and not doing a ton of team stuff, but has anybody caught your eye early?
Yeah, I've seen a couple of people actually. On the defensive side, Peyton Turner has been a big, he's turning heads, forgive the pun, but he's been somebody that
I love puns. Don't apologize for a pun on this show, Ross Jackson. I love a pun.
We'll call him Peyton Head Turner then. He had a really, you know what I'm saying? He had a really, really nice moment today, and he's had some nice moments over the course of both days of camp as well. But yeah, he lined up across from former LSU Tiger Gerald Hawkins, go Tigers, and ended up by the time that rep was done, Hawkins was on his backside and Peyton Turner was beelining for Ian Book. Now Ian Book was able to get the pass off in time, and it was a nice catch by Adam Troutman, so another good rep there for Adam Troutman. So good to see both of these players, Turner and Troutman, have a nice rep all in the same go there. But I mean, just to see Peyton Turner be an absolute one-man wrecking machine or wrecking crew over the course of these last couple of practices, that certainly stood out. Over on the offensive side, of course, a lot of what dominates our attention right now is number 13 out there, with Michael Thomas being out there. But I'll tell you, one of the guys that has stood out for me on the offensive side is running back Devine Ezigbo. We've seen him actually have some pretty nice reps in the passing game, some great reps in the run game, and even some great reps in his position drills as a protector as well. So some good showing there at a position where the New Orleans Saints might have some questions to answer sooner rather than later.
I know you also wrote over at Saints Wire about the addition of Malcolm Brown. Any observations there on the newest running back to join the crew?
Yeah, I think it's a little early, of course. He's only 2 days into even his own experience with the New Orleans Saints playbook. But I'll tell you, I mean, he's somebody that is very excited to be in New Orleans. He really loves the style of the New Orleans Saints offense, loves the fact that they're still utilizing fullbacks here in the Big Easy, so that's pretty nice for him. But, right. I mean, he really has that sort of physical run style that, Mark Ingram had found so much success with in New Orleans. And so I think that when we see him sort of get up to speed and really get into rhythm, I think he's going to be somebody to really watch. He's a player that has a little bit of versatility, but what he can do in particular between the tackles, the Saints could potentially find very valuable by the time that training camp is out.
He's on Twitter at Ross Jackson Nola, of course, Saints Wire and the Locked On Saints podcast. You got to be subscribed up to Locked On Saints, especially right now during camp as everything's getting full bore. I did mention earlier in the show, Ross, and I'm interested about Trevor Penning. Everyone's asking about Olave, but from what I understand, Penning and Hurst rotated reps with the first team at left tackle. How do they look?
Correct. Yeah, they both took some first-team tackle snaps or left tackle snaps today, which is a little bit of a change from yesterday where that was mostly dominated entirely by James Hurst. So good to see Trevor Penning getting in there. I think that, you can see some of the things in terms of his pass blocking technique that they're continuing to focus on and continuing to work on, but he's exactly where you would have expected him to be at this point in camp. But it is nice to see just the second day of camp, him getting those first team reps and getting involved there. So it'll be interesting to see how much more that picks up over the course of time. But the Saints are in a really good position here to where, if Trevor Penning is ready, then that's fantastic for them. That's probably best case scenario. But if he's not ready and they turn to James Hurst, that's certainly not a worst case scenario for them, if that makes sense. So
yeah.
They're in a really good spot here in terms of figuring things out and being able to have the time that they need to really figure things out at left tackle. And for Trevor Penning, it's nice because it's not a situation like what Cesar Ruiz, for instance, walked into, where there were no OTAs and no mini camps, and he's sort of been learning the position and having to establish his value all at the same time during training camp. He's gotten the opportunity to lay the foundation over the course of mini camps, OTAs, things like that, and then now he gets to work on potentially winning that spot.
Should I ask about Cesar Ruiz?
You're more than welcome to.
Okay. Is he ever going to live up to the billing of a first rounder?
We'll see. I mean, certainly like this off season is the off season that, or really this season is really the season that we should get an opportunity to really see that. The Saints bringing in Doug Marrone as their offensive line coach really is kind of the thing that gives maybe Cesar Ruiz the best chance at getting it right here in 2022. They've got him a fantastic developer in that position coach. Zach Strief, of course, is also still involved there as the assistant offensive line coach. So kind of like some people will look at Jameis Winston right now and say going into the season, there are no excuses. He has all of the weapons that he needs. You can kind of look at Cesar Ruiz and say after this season, there's really no excuses because he has all of the development needs that that might be necessary for him. And so I think he's got everything at his disposal. I think the trouble for him becomes if Trevor Penning ends up winning that left tackle spot early in camp, like let's say that happens, then all of a sudden James Hurst is going to get looks at other parts of the offensive line, and that could potentially end up pushing a guy like Cesar Ruiz at right guard if that happens.
Great point on Doug Marrone as well. That's why I got to listen to Ross. Okay, we're almost 10 minutes in, and I haven't asked about the quarterback, which I mean, when you're doing a camp report, how in the world do we not talk quarterback? But give me a thought on Jameis, man.
He's looking good. He was, I think, 2 for 4 in team drills earlier today, one of which included a drop. But, one of the things that you're liking that you're seeing from him outside of team drills, but also within, is, he spent a lot of time over the course of the offseason focusing his work 5, 10, 15 yards down the field, mostly because he had to, right? He had the limitations in terms of his injury recovery. And we're seeing all of that translate here to accurate passing in throughout training camp. And so I know he sailed one pass on a crossing route to Jarvis Landry, which is going to be something that's going to be very likely a big time staple in this New Orleans Saints offense in 2022 is Jarvis Landry crossing the field over the middle. No. And so, you want to see him hit those passes for sure, but he had a couple of nicely placed passes to running backs out of the backfield, including a nice one to Alvin Kamara, who showed you, he still has his twitch and his quickness and his balance and things like that as well that make him special. So I think so far the evolution of Jameis Winston is still in process, of course, and, we're not going to see the end of that until, once we get him out on the field, of course. But I think the other thing that I'll mention is that he's really, really comfortable in this New Orleans Saints offense this year with it being built for him. There's no competition. There's no question marks or anything. This is Jameis Winston's team as far as QB1 conversation goes, and he looks really comfortable in that role so far.
He is Ross Jackson on Twitter at Ross Jackson Nola, host of the Locked On Saints podcast. Read stuff over at Saints Wire as well. Man, we always appreciate it. Keep up the good work.
Hey, buddy. Thank you so much. Appreciate you as always. Stay safe. Take care. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, man. It's our pleasure. Good stuff there from Ross Jackson. Great point about Doug Marrone. I mean, I know we're talking a lot, and I've asked a lot about Penning, but you look at the first rounders, and there's always going to be expectation when you're talking about a first round pick. Peyton Turner coming off an injury-plagued year. Marcus Davenport, still not back out there full speed yet, waiting on that. But again, a former first-rounder. Cesar Ruiz, obviously, it's a big-time year here in year 3. He gets the full offseason and the benefit of working with Doug Marrone there as his position coach, former NFL head coach, former offensive coordinator. I mean, yeah, it's time. So some of those guys that the heat turns up a little bit on those guys because the expectation is there now. We'll see how they do. Okay. It's after further review. We'll knock out a quick break. When we come back, what an 2 SEC head coaches did radio interviews today, and their approaches could not have been more polar opposite. You'll hear it next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Pluckers Nicholson. Bluebonnet, dine-in, carry-out, or delivery. 28 flavors of award-winning jumbo chicken wings, ice-cold draft beer, full-service bar, sports on TV. Get on by Pluckers tonight and every Thursday. All-you-can-eat boneless buffalo bites. And by the way, if you're having a birthday party, having a game watch, tailgate, whatever it may be, Pluckers is awesome for catering. We had Drew's birthday party a couple of weeks ago. We had the Pluckers boneless buffalo bites. Had 200 of them. They all went. It's incredible. You just get the little boneless buffalo bites, white meat, breaded, fried, bite-sized, come with dipping sauce, tossed in your favorite sauce if you want. That's at Pluckers. All you can eat tonight and every Thursday at Pluckers. Nicholson, just south of campus. Bluebonnet, right in front of the Mall of Louisiana. Remember, wall-to-wall TVs, so you can always watch your favorite sporting event or have it delivered. Uber Eats or DoorDash. That's at Pluckers. Dine and carry out or delivery. Pluckers. You don't like our wings. We'll give you the bird.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
And this year, 2022, it's time to finally treat yourself. Bring your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service. You want the latest and greatest marine technology? You want to go to the place that has not one, but 2 NMEA certified techs. Family owned and operated by the Sherman family for 30 years. Front-to-back is the answer in Baton Rouge for all of your custom boat needs. So head to fronttobackboatservice.com or find them on Facebook, Front to Back Boat Service.
Visit Acura of Baton Rouge for attractive offers on the MDX.
After further review with Matt Moscona. Presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
One of the more underrated parts of Alondra filling in for Musso as we get to dig into our grunge roots. I'm dead serious. It's my stuff, right? I'm so surprised that you're so into grunge. I mean, I'm pumped about it, though. You have a favorite?
My favorite of all time is STP.
Okay, I think we did unearth that last time.
Yeah.
Because I told you I got to see
Audio Slave.
Well, I saw Velvet Revolver.
Yeah.
So I saw Scott Weiland with the Guns N' Roses
Slash?
guys.
Yeah.
Yes. Did I show you my picture with Slash?
No.
I'll show it to you in the break.
Okay.
I think I might have tweeted it on a Throwback Thursday or on my Instagram. You can follow me on Instagram if you want to add Matt Moscona. I don't promote it a lot here, but I got some stuff there. We were talking in the break because there's a women's lacrosse league on ESPN2 right now. I wonder if I could hold. Is it hard to catch a lacrosse ball with the net thingy? Have you ever done that at all? I know we said you didn't. You played softball.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever even done it recreationally.
What's it called? The stick with the net in lacrosse?
I don't know.
Lacrosse
stick?
Well, it's called and the ball is called something as well. Let's see. Lacrosse stick.
I'm Googling it.
It says stick. Lacrosse stick.
It's just a cross.
Lacrosse sticks?
The stick is called a cross.
A cross.
Yeah.
Now what about the ball? The ball is called something in lacrosse. like in badminton, it's called a birdie, the little thing they use.
Yeah.
Something like that. Anyway,
I played badminton.
I did in PE one time because we had to. All right. I'm curious if I could throw. Maybe if anyone has a lacrosse stick, I'd be interested in seeing if I could play catch with a lacrosse stick. And I think we also figured out that I would hold it backwards. Like as a lefty, I would put my left hand high and my right hand low, and you would go the opposite, right?
That's just how I feel like I would do it.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I'm sure that's how you feel. It's how you do it right.
Yeah.
Sure. All right, it's after further review. 2 SEC head coaches did radio interviews today. And boy, did they have very, very different approaches and outcomes. So Jimbo Fisher went on the Herd with Colin Cowherd. And look, Herd let him give his pitch and all that stuff. But of greater significance, his recruiting pitch, especially now at the NIL era. But of greater significance, Cowherd asked Jimbo about the Nick Saban feud, because of course he did. Here's what Jimbo said.
Yeah, me and Nick, we're past. We're moved past it.
Okay.
You understand something? We drank the same water growing up. When you're coming from West Virginia, you're fighting, scratching, clawing for everything you got. We have, and people in our state and where I grew up and the way I grew up, what was on your mind come out your lips. Okay. And then you moved in 5 minutes later, you said what you said, and you either fought over it, got in a fight over it, and then played 5 minutes later, or you said okay, and you walked off and you played 5 minutes later. He's the same. We're cut from the same cloth. We're both competitive, and that's just the way it is. I mean, and I have respect for Nick, like I said before, and we're fine.
Okay, so basically, Greg Sankey took them both, into timeout and took off his belt and delivered a few blows. We're gonna all get along publicly here now. I'm just still so grateful that we got Bro Baba sliced bread and the drop from Jimbo for all eternity. The other side of this coin, however, is maybe the most unlikely head coach in the SEC to make waves. We expected at this point from Lane Kiffin. We expect Mike Leach to give us headline news. We don't expect it from Eli Drinkwitz. And boy, is he trying really hard. Last week at Media Days, Drinkwitz shows up with his Chuck Taylors on with the tiger stripes all over him. And today, Drinkwitz does an interview on the Jim Rome Show. And you can tell he has got to find a way to get some type of notoriety in any way he can for his program. So Drinkwitz is doing an interview on the Jim Rome Show, and right off the bat, Drinkwitz from the top rope against Tennessee.
I thought you were going to introduce my record, but with the latest allegations against Tennessee, let's hold up on what my record is, because I expect them to vacate some wins, and that's going to help my record a little bit. Okay?
Oh, man, this is getting better. This is getting so much better. Can I ask you, I wasn't necessarily going to go there, but you would be the beneficiary of that. Since you brought it up, can I get your reaction to the latest allegations against Tennessee?
Yeah, I mean, me personally, I got to question my wife's commitment to winning. I don't know how much she's committed if she's not engaging in some of these things. I didn't know that was fair play. So, we got to, it was a little bit surprising to see the in-depth nature of what was going on there. But I am sure glad that Tennessee was taking some ownership of it, and we'll see what the results are. But it's pretty interesting for sure.
My man, if I were you, I'd walk off right now, and then you can go down as the best guest ever. Eli, one more thought about that. It's one thing to say that I didn't know.
I don't need anymore. Again, Eli Drinkwitz, unprompted, throws a jab at Tennessee, saying his record is going to get better when they vacate some wins, and that his wife wasn't trying hard enough if she wasn't cheating. Like, this, sometimes over time, things resonate, they stand out, and you remember them. And I remember in 2009, 8 or 9, the first year that Lane Kiffin was at Tennessee. It was also the first year that Dan Mullen was at Mississippi State. It was 2009. Dan Mullen and Kiffin were both new coaches in the league in 2009. And you would think that, look, we know Lane's personality now, but keep in mind back then, didn't. I mean, Lane Kiffin was the Raiders coach. He was a young guy. Like, he wasn't the personality that we've seen him become. And in 2009, remember, Lane Kiffin was recruiting big receiver from South Carolina who ended up going to South Carolina, was also played a long time in the NFL. I'm blanking right now. Someone will text me and remind me. He's recruiting this receiver and says, man, if you go to South Carolina, you're going to pump and gas at a gas station. And it's become a very public thing. And that was Kiffin. Kiffin was out there just publicly jabbing everybody. I mean, he was starting fires everywhere he could to get attention for Tennessee. And I remember thinking at the time, and that's what Mullins should be doing, because he's at Mississippi State. It's harder to get attention at Mississippi State. Well, now we know personalities. It is so interesting to see Eli Drinkwitz, how hard he is trying right now to bring some type of notoriety to Missouri football. He did it last week at Media Days with the shoe he's wearing and the shoes and kind of how he's trying to carry himself. I mean, y'all, I don't mean to be insulting to the guy, but I know it's impossible for it to come across any other way. His name is Elijah Drinkwitz. He's a short, nerdy-looking dude. I'm not telling you I'm like this great looking guy or anything, but he fits a prototype, a stereotype. You think accountant, you think Eli Drinkwitz, the little guy with glasses and like long, perfectly parted blonde hair. Like, that's what you think. You don't think major college football coach. And in a place like Missouri, you need to make waves to get attention. Now, the really interesting part about this, aside from the fact just that Drinkwitz would do that unprompted, like, he's had no issue with Tennessee. Tennessee's had no issue with him. Like, he came out and just walked right up to him and just punched him in the nose. Completely unprompted. It's like the nerdy kid in school that just walks up to the big kid and just goes, pop, just bops him in the nose for no reason. That's what Drinkwitz says. Like, the hell are you doing, man? But remember what we talked about with Sankey. The SEC has always been, I asked Greg Sankey this on AFR last week at Media Days about, like a family, would you keep, say what you got to say behind closed doors, but publicly we're unified. So when Nick and Jimbo were doing their public song and dance, it was like, oh. And now you got to worry about, now you got Jimbo playing nice, going on count. No, we're fine. I'll take Nick's call. We're good. You see, we're from West Virginia. We drank the same water growing up. Bro Bible sliced bread. That's all in the past now at this point. And now Greg Sankey's got to look at Eli Drinkwitz is the one out there starting fires, lighting waves, kicking anthills, lighting flames, kicking anthills. Yo. I mean, I don't know what good it'll do for Drinkwitz at Missouri. I don't know what it'll do for any coach at Missouri. I know Gary Pinkel was there a long time. In his first 2 years in the league, he got them in the SEC championship game. That was at a time when the East wasn't great, and we just completely always crapped on the East. But Georgia has clearly asserted itself. I think Florida under Billy Napier is going to be very good. He will have them back. I think Tennessee, with Josh Heupel and with the resources they have, they got a 5-star quarterback committed coming in. They're clearly committed on NIL and other things. I mean, I don't know how Missouri ever, even Kentucky has established themselves as a competitive program. I don't know how Missouri ever breaks through. I mean, they're going to be more saddled with Vanderbilt in the bottom two, the way that, generally speaking, the Mississippi schools generally are in the West. But, man, I can respect trying to get attention and doing so. The manner in which he's doing it is a little concerning. And file that away to see if Greg Sankey doesn't get a hold of Eli Drinkwitz and say, we are going to have an about face immediately. Because that feels like the nerdy kid punched another kid in the nose unprovoked on the playground and then ended up in the principal's office. I'm going to be interested to see that scene, which is next, because I would make a prediction that you will see a public apology from Eli Drinkwitz in very, very short order after he gets called into the principal's office. All right, it's After Further Review brought to you by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service. ShawbillsTire.com. Bumper-to-bumper auto service, name-brand tires at wholesale prices. ShawbillsTire.com. ShawbillsTire.com. The check engine light came on in my vehicle, need an oil change and standard 30,000-mile maintenance. Bring it on into Shawbills. You can schedule service online at ShawbillsTire.com. You can shop tires online at ShawbillsTire.com. You can check all their great promotions online at ShawbillsTire.com. If you don't want to call but you want to chat with somebody, they got a chat function right there with a little widget right there on the homepage, even on the mobile app as well, on the mobile site as well. Just go to ShawbillsTire.com, tap, choose the location. You're chatting with an associate from Shawbills instantly. That's ShawbillsTire.com. ShawbillsTire.com. Shawbills, where we keep you rolling. All right, glad to have you aboard with us here. Been a really good show. If you missed anything, of course, AFR On Demand presented by Brett Golf. You can catch it. Oh, fantastic news. For those who have been asking and wondering, our on-demand audio is live again on Apple. So many thanks to our IT crew, namely Ben over in that office, who helped work with Apple and get that all sorted out. Our redirect wasn't working, long story short. You hadn't been able to get our on-demand audio on Apple. It's been on Spotify and the other platforms, but it's now back live on Apple again. So you can catch AFR On Demand, Apple, Spotify, at 1045ESPN.com. Just search After Further Review on those podcast apps, and we'll pop right up, and please subscribe. All right, it's After Further Review. We will knock out a quick break, and we'll continue Otter Locks in about 15 minutes. Another rough night for Otter. Will he ever get back on track? Probably not as long as he's in Del Mar, but we'll try again tonight in a bit. It's AFR.
AFR.
Better coverage for less money. I say it every single day. Insurance Network of Louisiana shops independently for free to find you better coverage for less money. I've told you my story. Had State Farm forever. From the moment I started driving to when Eric and I got married, homeowners insurance, auto insurance, everything was all State Farm. Never even thought about shopping. And we had a neighbor that was a State Farm agent, so we went with State Farm. When he retired, they just transitioned us to another State Farm agent. Great people. Please don't misunderstand me. Great people. The problem was they could only get rates from State Farm. I didn't know any better until I met the guys at Insurance Network of Louisiana. And they went and shopped independently for free. And I ended up saving $1,600 annual on my coverage and quadrupled my coverage. I went from state minimum on auto to $100,000, $300,000, added $1 million umbrella and saved I got better coverage and saved $1,600 a year. You don't think I was pumped? How much could you save? 293-0450, 293-0450, or lainsurance.net.
My own people call me an Uncle Tom. I play music. Been wined and dined by royalty. Trying to bring people together. All people. But regardless of all that kind of stuff, I'm still Louis Armstrong.
Here's the man you're waiting for, the king of jazz, Louis Satchmo Armstrong.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off new Ford F-150s. We have new 2021 F-150s on our lot now with $10,000 off MSRP. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Master Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
I talked about Eli Drinkwitz making waves on the Rome Show. Chris Copeland texted, honestly, I keep forgetting Missouri's in the SEC. It's so true, though. Like, it's hard to Alshon Jeffrey, thank you. Alshon Jeffrey, so I was thinking of the receiver. I knew someone would hit me up with it. That Kiffin was recruiting back in the day. But it's very true. I mean, you know, I know it's a bit of an evergreen at this point, but Missouri's in the SEC for one reason, and it's financial. It's financial. It provided stability for them amid a time of instability, and for the SEC, it obviously brought a lot of revenue to the league because you added the St. Louis and Kansas City markets. But competitively, it's just not a good move for them. Like they're not competitive, and they came into the league and we thought that they would be good in basketball, maybe struggle in football. They've struggled in everything. So. I don't know what's next. I mean, I do know what's next. I know what is inevitable long term, but short term, I don't know how Missouri and Eli Drinkwitz ever get to a point where they are competitive. I mean, the only thing that would feel possible is like what Kentucky's done there with Mark Stoops, but you have to make a decade-long commitment to a coach that's willing to build a certain way, in the way that Mike Leach did at Texas Tech, or I mentioned Mark Stoops has done at Kentucky, places where you don't have the deep roster of resources, financially and the recruiting base and everything. It's just not how they ever get competitive, especially in that division. But they're here for better or worse, unless they go to the Big Ten, which wouldn't be sad if they did. We did mention, by the way, one more time, I do want to mention. Sincere congratulations to Todd McClure. Mentioned it at the start of the show today, and if you weren't here, Todd was good enough to join us last hour. If you haven't heard yet, Todd McClure today, it was announced by the Atlanta Falcons that he is going into the Falcons Ring of Honor. He will be inducted or honored October the 30th in a home game there at Mercedes-Benz Stadium against the Carolina Panthers. So major congrats to Todd McClure. Spent all 14 NFL seasons in Atlanta with the Falcons. A guy who played high school ball at Central. He's from Baton Rouge. Stayed home, played 4 years at LSU. Became the starting center midway through his freshman season. Started his sophomore, junior seasons, 96, 7, and 8 there during the DiNardo era. Was a 7th-round pick of the Falcons. Tore his ACL his rookie year. Came back from that and ended up being a stalwart for more than a decade in Atlanta. One of the greatest players in the history of that organization. He's now the 12th player honored. And I know I mentioned this before, but I'll say it again. For me, Todd is as nice a guy. For someone who played such a physically demanding position, he is as good and genuinely nice of a human as you'd ever want to meet. And people say that, and sometimes like you say nice things about people when they get honors, but like it's one of those things where you genuinely feel good for this person because he is a great person and was a great player as well. And the few years, and Hanny could probably tell you a bunch of stories about working with Todd as well, as Todd did post game here on Eagle 98.1 game day for a couple of seasons with us. But those seasons, when we were in the press box, Todd's seat in the press box was right next to mine. So, I mean, he sat on my left for 2 football seasons where I watched every LSU game, sit next to a guy who played 14 NFL seasons. I mean, it just, I probably annoyed him a lot, even though he was nice enough to say I didn't. But, I was heady enough to realize I'm sitting next to a guy that played 14 NFL seasons and was an All-American. I'm going to ask him questions. So when we're watching the game, why did they run that play? What are you thinking here? Would you punt? Hey, why is that defensive lineman doing so well? Why is he struggling on this? Just those sorts of things. What that guy was looking for in those situations. So I learned so much from him. I'm fired up for him. I hate the Atlanta Falcons and basically everything associated with them. But I'm very, very excited for Todd McClure, who's very well deserving. So congrats to Big Roo, who and was so kind to give us 10 minutes of his time earlier today. So they flew him to Atlanta, said they were shooting some preseason videos with some Falcons alums. Kind of thought something might be up when they paid for his flight for he and his family and put him up in a nice hotel and everything like that. But they did surprise him today with the honor. So congrats again to Todd McClure. All right, to after further review, Otter's coming up here in less than 5 minutes. We're brought to you by GMFS Mortgage, GMFSmortgage.com. Changing lives since 1999. Home buy, refi, construction loans. You know where to find them. GMFSmortgage.com, Louisiana's largest local lender. Fed bumped interest rates again, y'all. The Fed bumped interest rates again, but that should not stop you from buying a home. And this is why. Because even with the home market being what it is right now, with rates being what they are, you could always buy now. With the market slowing a tad, you have more inventory now. You're going to get a more fair price on that home. And even if your interest rate is up, when rates drop again, refi. GMFS Mortgage. GMFSmortgage.com. A local loan officer can explain all those options. GMFS Mortgage, changing lives. Brian Kelly was at Rotary yesterday. We've let you hear a ton of what Brian Kelly had to say. We've dissected a lot of it, from quarterbacks, the offensive line, to tight ends. But I have mentioned also this has been a really good opportunity to get to know Brian Kelly. Play number 3, please. We have gotten to know Brian Kelly as, he showed up in December. He had the introductory press conference, and we didn't hear from him again till spring practice, basically, because he had a hell of a lot of work to do to build a staff, to rebuild a roster, and now we're getting to know him a little bit as well. And he was asked kind of what is his why in coaching.
When we talk about high performance, we're talking about the staff necessary to develop, to collaborate, to be together on a day-to-day basis, to develop our student athletes to be the best versions of themselves in all facets, from academics to nutrition, from strength and conditioning to player development, from mental performance to mental health. And so those high-performance teams are what I do on a day-to-day basis. And so you don't have to be from Louisiana or Alabama or Mississippi or Michigan. You need to be aware of what your charge is on a day-to-day basis and what your why is. And my why is to develop 18 to 21-year-olds on a day-to-day basis.
And one of his slogans is graduate champions. It's something he's focused on. I know we talked about Micah Baskerville, who feels like he had a lot to earn and prove. And Baskerville's been recognized as Student Athlete of the Month throughout the summer. He's done a fantastic job. You're starting to see a lot of that. It's also been a lot about player leadership, which is something else Kelly talked about, was the player leadership on this team.
You know, when you have successful football teams, when that locker room is led by the players. And so make no mistake about it, the ability to have a player-led culture, when players are holding each other accountable on a day-to-day basis, when you're working on helping them become better young men on a day-to-day basis, better leaders. And make no mistake about it, we have to help them become better leaders. We have to show them what leadership is about. But that accountability on a day-to-day basis helps them build themselves to be the best version of themselves as well.
Brian Kelly again at Rotary. LSU opens up fall camp 1 week from today. We did get we've known it, but we got that formal notification today as media that camp will open up on the 4th. On Monday, we'll get a full schedule of camp, so we'll know practice times, what is open to the media, what isn't. So we'll go through all of that on Monday. We'll have a much better idea of it, but it's almost here, boys and girls. Tiger training camp is about to open up on Thursday, a week from today. Saints are 2 days into training camp as they get started on the opening era, the inaugural era, season of the Dennis Allen era in New Orleans, a new era in New Orleans. Football season is just about here. All right, after further review, still baseball season, and we got to get some Otter Locks. So Jimmy Ott's going to join us next for a little Otter Locks. See if we can get back on track. The Otter was 1-2 last night. All of my money is going away. We'll find out what we're betting on next.
AFR.
Love telling you about the Baton Rouge General Hospital. Expanding healthcare in Baton Rouge. You know where to find them, brgeneral.org, brgeneral.org. So many different services that are available. If you go to brgeneral.org, you can learn about all of them. If it's the Pennington Cancer Center, they're on the Bluebonnet campus. Got it, at the Baton Rouge General Hospital. Emergency care, Mid-City, Bluebonnet, of course, the Ascension Neighborhood Hospital as well. The Heart and Vascular Center, award-winning surgery, emergent, elective, primary care physicians. You can even deliver your baby at the Baton Rouge General Hospital. And we tell you all the time also about their express care locations. That's walk-in urgent care 7 days a week at the Baton Rouge General Hospital. You can always check wait times as well online or on the app at brgeneral.org. For the Baton Rouge General Hospital, part of the Mayo Clinic Care Network, brgeneral.org, brgeneral.org.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $10,000 off MSRP on all new 2022 Ram Black Widow trucks in stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
After further review with Matt Moscona. Presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Down the stretch, we come final segment here on a Thursday edition of AFR. If you miss anything, AFR on demand at 1045ESPN.com. You can always go back and check us out, iTunes, Spotify, however you get your podcasts. Just search After Further Review. All right, one thing left to do. Let's find out what we're betting on tonight. It's time for Otterlocks.
Otterlocks, presented by Workbox Services. For over 20 years, Baton Rouge's leader on on-site construction, industrial, and residential services.
So we turn to the one and only, the incomparable and often incomprehensible, the Ottfather himself, Jimmy Ott. Otter?
Yes, sir.
How's Del Mar?
Chilly.
I hate you so much. Every day I grow to hate you a little more.
I did mess up. I should have had a pullover today, but I'm in shorts and a T-shirt. I'm a little chilly. So I just go down a few rows, get in the sun, or go by the paddock for a little bit, warm up, and then go back up, have a beer in the chili.
Yeah.
But we're on a cold streak today. EJ's 0 for 4 today, even though he's betting with his old man funny. But,
So is it time to fade the Otter?
No, we won. Big parlay last night.
But then we lost with the Orioles.
Yeah, Cincinnati, and oh gosh,
the Mets.
Yes, Mr. Met. Yeah.
You can't even remember what you bet on.
I'm a little flabbergasted right now. We're 0 for 4 today in the track. But it's race 5. So look, big money line parlay tonight.
Okay.
West Coast teams, easy to remember. Showtime.
Okay.
Enough said there. And San Francisco.
All right.
Cubs are trash on the road. They get a little public sentiment since they went on a little win streak. But no.
Okay.
We're out. Want a couple of bombs on the small plate, bombs on the road to catching coming back some money. Zach Wheeler is a big favorite on the road against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's one of those feisty teams this year, and I mean, it's just a lot. We know that bullpen is garbage for Philadelphia. So, hey, let's get it to the late innings close, and let's try and take it. So, Pittsburgh's coming to like plus 90.
I'm looking at 170.
170. 170. So, got that.
Okay.
John Speakers, look at the rest of the schedule here. Royals, Yankees is unbettable. Dodgers, Blue Jays is unbettable. There you go. All right, here you go. Guardians.
Okay.
Jensen. All right, he is on fire right now. Pretty much even money, or maybe minus 20.
Yeah.
And the Astros, I'm going against them as well. Logan Gilbert, the second best pitcher to ever come out of Stetson University, of course. Jacob deGrom was probably the first.
Mm-hmm.
He's good. A top pick, 6'6", right-handed, throws high 90s. He has gotten back into a groove, and so we're going with Seattle as well.
All right, so we got a money line parlay West Coast with the Angels and the Giants.
Yes.
And then we're going with Pittsburgh, Cleveland, and Seattle.
You got it.
What's Hanny doing tonight?
Where is Hanny tonight? Oh, he's across the river at Bruley. He's in Bruley. I'm in Del Mar. That's the way it should be. So,
two very divergent career paths. The Otter is in Del Mar. Hanny is in Bruley.
He's at walk-on, though. But if you're going to be in Bruley, you might as well be at walk-on.
Oh, God bless America.
Hey, Colucci tonight. So,
right.
We got Colucci follow him on Twitter at NYBookieDwayne. He's a very good horse handicapper. Very good race handicapper at Saratoga and Del Mar right now.
Well, maybe you want to ask Colucci for his picks tomorrow, because if you're wearing the collar, it's time to maybe get some help.
I think I'm a net sell with this pullover. Let me see.
All right,
where the surf meets the surf at old Del Mar. Take a train, take a plane, take a car.
Z-plane! Z-plane!
I see him!
All right, when are you coming back again? What's the date that you're going?
I forget. Mid-August, maybe. I don't know. Saints bye week. I don't know.
We're never going to see him again. He's never coming back. All right, Otter. Enjoy the rest of your day there in Del Mar. We'll see you when we do.
Don't forget, 6 o'clock. Jimmy Ott's Game Time presented by Bet Rivers from Del Mar to Brewley. Come on, baby. Better way to go.
Get him off of my show. Hang up on him right now. Oh, my God. All right, Game Time with Jimmy Ott follows us in Baton Rouge. If you're not in Baton Rouge, online at 1045ESPN.com or the Game Time with Jimmy Ott Facebook page. Alondra, did you learn anything today?
No.
Okay, perfect. That's what we love to hear. Paulie, did you learn anything today?
Julio turned down an offer from the Saints.
He did, in fact, apparently. Ask me if I learned. Alondra's cousin dreams about MMA. We'll do better tomorrow. See ya.
AFR.
As we get on down the road, let me remind you about the Williamson Eye Center, WilliamsonEYE.com. I'll tell you the Otter right now. At Del Mar, he can see those ponies with perfect 20/20 vision from afar. You want to know why? Dr. Blake Williamson. The Otter had the lens replacement surgery there at the Williamson Eye Center. I had LASIK. So many athletes have gone through the Williamson Eye Center over the years. From Pulmonary to Warren Morris, Devin White, Caleb Chasson, John Emery. The list is long and distinguished. Athletes that want perfect, superhuman vision, they go see Dr. Blake Williamson. But you don't have to be an athlete. You can be an average Joe like me. 924-2020. You want to ditch the contacts and glasses forever? 924-2020. Go see Dr. Blake Williamson at the Williamson Eye Center. 924-2020 or online at WilliamsonEYE.com.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary. For those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.